official Riot Games WREC EMEA Championship.
Everybody round here, know we get hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round,
Welcome back, everybody, to the Wild Rift European Championship. I have switched out Hells for Carmeline, who will be joining me for this second series of the day. Team Queso going up against Formulation Gaming. What a crazy first series, but of course, the action hasn't stopped, Carmeline. Let's turn our attention towards Team Queso and Formulation. Now, of course, Spanish bias aside, Team Queso are probably coming in as favorites. How do you see this going? Do you think this will be a 2-0 to Queso, or do you think there'll be a bit more? Oh, wait a second, we've got a tweet. Caster's seeing another map after third map after 10 days of road casting. Yeah, we were complaining at the start of the Wild Rift European Championship that we weren't getting enough map 3s, and now we're getting map 3s all the time. But a crazy series, worth every single second. But let's get back on to Team Queso versus Formulation. Do you think this will be a relatively easy walk in the park for Queso, or do you think Formulation have got more to prove?
Usually, it's not that I say it, okay? Sharks just said it, that they thought they preferred to play versus Formulation because they thought that it would be easier for them to win. No, but actually, I think Formulation have been the underdogs of the entire competition. People seem to undervalue them, like, oh yeah, Formulation are gonna lose. I'm the first to do it. And then they go and they find these opponents, they just smash them, and they make it through the next stage. So in this case, as much as they want Team Queso to win, I think they're gonna have to be facing that quite hard opponent in Formulation Gaming.
I do think Formulation will definitely put up more of a fight than you may expect. It's just like Viv were a little bit underestimated by some people. You know, Formulation Gaming are a great team, and I think Team Queso as well, like, they're top side of the map. I mean, Andre and Acolyte are great players. They've always been great players, but obviously they still have quite a bit to prove on the bot side with Joey Skaggs and Methanol. You know, those are two rookie pros coming into this Wild Rift European Championship to prove something for Team Queso. And you can see these are the rosters. UI, Kemal, Don, Fico, and Zawa against Acolyte, Andre, Vejos, Joey Skaggs, and Methanol. I mean, Vejos incredibly experienced as well. It was a good replacement for Ruiz all in all. But obviously Joey and Methanol, they are the two that have got a bit more to prove. And to be honest, in most Team Queso's wins, Carmelina, they haven't had much to do. I mean, really, they've just kind of done their job. But it's been about Andre and it's been about Acolyte, who have really been the driving forces for Queso.
Yeah, I think Andreas is sometimes overlooked as well. I think many times it's given the credit he deserves, but at the same time, when the team loses, it's like he doesn't exist. He does exist for better wars for the team. So when he's able to get that, snowball rolling, then the games are much better for the team. Now, when he doesn't shine, just shine, not even do a bad job, just when he doesn't shine, then things get a little more difficult for them. So I'm hoping to see the best version of Andreas today. And of course, for Formulation Gaming, we've got amazing players. I've got my eyes on Don, I've got my eyes on Fekos. I want to see what they can do today, because in past games, they've been showing up quite a lot. So maybe they can do it today, like bring a little bit of a spice here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've definitely got what it takes. Let's take a look over with Hells, though, who is standing by with some key points for our first game of this series.
Yeah, so as Excarno mentioned, we know from Team Queso, Acolyte and Andres, those are the real incredible players. But I want to talk about something else as well, which is the mages in the bot lane. We've seen Joey on the Morgana. We've seen Fekko on the Seraphine. We know there is more behind it. We've seen Joey play champions like the Ziggs and the Orianna as well. So mages are definitely going to be a priority for both teams. And the next priority is going to be the Rakan. Both teams, yet again, like Methanol, especially on that Rakan. Oh my god. We'd love to see it. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see it. It's probably going to get banned out because we know how much value it can provide. And then a champion that you can combine with the Rakan as well is the Ziggs. Ziggs is even more of a priority pick, right? We know how strong Rakan is, but Ziggs is even bigger. And the combination of the two, which we're probably, we're probably not going to see with these teams, because we know how good both of these teams are with these combinations, is what's going to be the real power. And I don't have it as a key point, but Fekko Seraphine as well, right? Like, This is a dangerous pick that has to be in the back of your head. This is a saying that we say in the Netherlands, but like you have to have it in the back of your head. So don't pick the wrong picks to allow Fekko to just pick Seraphine and destroy your composition. So that is it for the key points. Shooting it back to Carmelina and Xcano to get into the game.
Do you know how that saying actually exists in many other languages?
Oh, come on! Tell me.
It also it's in English. It's keep it in the back of your mind is the English way of saying it. But there you go. I'm sure it probably exists in Spanish as well.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Oh my gosh,
I'm going to sense check with production just to make sure. But
excuse me? Okay.
I'm joking, Carmen. Let's get into the picks and bans phase. Let's get back into the picks and bans phase because, of course, we have a lot of awesome things that can obviously come through, like the Lee Sin for Andre. We've got Acolyte, obviously with his Darius. There are some really signature picks that we might be expecting to go through the pick and ban phase here. Whereas, as Hells correctly mentioned, Seraphine as well.
And the Nunu. We've forgotten about the Nunu.
The Nunu, you're right.
He's been played multiple times as well, so we can't forget about it. In fact, I think it's going to be quite important going into this series. But let's watch what they started with, because this is going to set the tone for the entirety of the series, no matter how many games we go to. So, team second time, I once again selected Darius. Olaf is going to be banned. We were just talking about it. It's a really important pick for Andres, even though his name is Andres said, but you know, like, just wait. He plays Olaf quite a lot. I think he's played up to 3 times during the WREC, so kind of difficult to say goodbye to it. And Yumi, really, like, yeah. Okay,
it's fair enough. Because we just saw a good Yumi game in the last series, didn't we? I mean, it was a relatively good Yumi game, I think.
But yeah, it was. I agree with you. But like, why take Yumi off the table?
Oh, as in you wanted to see Yumi. You wanted to see Yumi get played.
I wanted to see Yumi. Of course, I wanted to see Yumi.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because she's good. I mean, you're banning Jax, you're banning Olaf. Like, these are all good Yumi champions as well. So Formulation Gaming kind of getting rid of other Yumi associates and also trying to, I think, hamper Andre specifically. Like, you know, I think they're really trying to hamper Andres, you know, because he is the main carry for that team.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the main character, and it was like, oh, okay.
Well, he could be the main character. He could be, you know.
He could be, actually. He's quite a nice guy, really pleasant to talk to. And then we've got Fiora being banned as well, taken off the table. I think in this case, it's UI, the one that they're targeting, not just because it's Yumi, you know, being banned, but also because it is a really important pick. We've seen it today several times in the jungle as well, being played by several people there, not so much in top lane. And I think this is gonna also be setting what this team wants to do. Team Kezo just planning something on the top lane. They don't want Acolyte to have anyone in front of them who could cause trouble. So, okay, revealing their plans a little bit too early, but we'll see what happens.
Let's see. Like, we've got one final ban here. The Gragas coming through is a relatively powerful and important pick that a lot of people have been kind of really excited about recently. So Varus comes through as the final ban here for Fico. Does have the option for a Seraphine. Seraphine Sona has been played this weekend already. We've already seen that Fico has got a really good Seraphine in the right composition, but obviously not something that you'd pick super early on here. So let's take a look at what Formulation Gaming want to prioritize in its UI on the set. Could be Kemal, but more likely UI on the set.
Yeah, so for now we've seen UI on the set actually played top lane. I'm just looking at the champions that they've been playing all the time. They've got quite a good champion pool, you know, like it does not really one champion that you can say, okay, this is the one that's performing all the time. So I think what this sets the tone, you can use a set on the bot lane, but mostly on the top lane, it's going to provide a good service of damage, but most importantly, a bruiser, which is going to be super duper important going into the mid game, late game, and combined with a Thresh. Wow, I think this can be a quite good engaged composition. And of course, opposed to Morgana and Agalia, the Morgana with the binding, gonna be forcing you to play very safely, play with the minions in between, and the Agalia here with the hero's entrance. Again, lots of macro, lots of map control, so we'll see who gets out victoriously out of this matchup, but for now I'm leaning more towards Team Kezo.
they've got a very strong duo, lock-up here. They've got the Morgana and the Galio works, as you mentioned, works really well together. Got a lot of map presence with the Galio Ultimate too. We're going to see the Thresh and the Corki get locked in for Formulation Gaming, which is giving them some good late game scaling. They've got someone that they can depend on, especially around objective fights. So that's really important. The Darius for Acolyte comes through here. So it's a very standard Acolyte pick, good into pretty much any matchup. Pretty solid into UI. You just need to be a little careful about the face breaker timing, because obviously that can stop the Darius true damage coming through at the right time. We'll see what the bans are now in this second ban phase. And if I were Formulation, I would be thinking of, well, actually, gonna be honest with you, I think it's very likely that Joey's playing Morgana bot here. So there isn't a huge amount of evidence about what you can and can't ban. So I think just start banning away power picks that could be complementary to this composition.
You see, they're really right here, which is going to be good. You don't want Formulation Game to find a way to counter this Darius besides the set. So again, another ban that is going to go, also because they don't seem to have Toes in the mid laner yet, so you're going to be saving that for later. Then you also have the set. I mean, okay, this is a really versatile pick. It could go to Andres, it could go to Beges. So in this case, we're going to be keeping it safe, we don't want this assassin to make it. So Ari is still open, you've got plenty of choices still there. Even Diana, if you want to play it, nowadays you can still do it. So Team Kaiser keeping their options open once again. They still got a ban to go through. And honestly, the Jace is a quite good choice in here. No Mercury Hammer or Cannon for you. Okay, no slowing down for Team Keso. That's something that they don't want to be seen. And now is this up for Formulation Gaming? What is it that they don't want to be seen for the ban?
I would ban Lee Sin personally. I think Graves gets banned, but obviously Andres' Lee Sin is still available. So that's a really good AD threat from the jungle. They've got a very AP heavy composition already, so we don't necessarily need to have like an AP mid laner, for instance. And I think Lee Sin is pretty solid into most other jungle matchups. And I think it's like with the Black Shield gone as well, there's always a good opportunity for you to kind of like isolate someone. And it's also, again, as we know, a good pick for Andres all round. So Diana does come through though. So that's another AP threat, which does now mean that we are lacking a bit of AD actually for Team Queso. Like you've only got Acolyte on this Darius, who really deals his damage through true damage mostly.
Yeah, we've got quite a fair deal of tanks and bruisers and people who are going to be providing sustain on lane, but at the same time, as you said, way too much AP, way too many squishes, Morgana and Diana. So let's see what they try to help that composition to be rounded out with. But for now, Kazakh's going over to Formulation Gaming. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the ganks here, we know that they're going to be amazing, especially in the bot lane. I can foresee amazing matchups in there. Also, if you want the Acolyte to, slow him down a little bit, that will be a quite good choice. I like the the matchup that they are asking for here. I'm still thinking of what Andres might pick, but it's gonna be the Renekton finally to round it up all together, like a beautiful package. And I have to say, whereas one composition is kind of missing AD for Formulation Gaming, I might be missing a little bit of AP. You've got it in Corki, but something is missing for me.
I want to see what the final pickup is going to be. I feel like it's Lee. There we go. I mean, he was looking for the jungle matchup, and it's very, very rare that you see junglers last pick on a comp, right? Because they're generally so flexible. They don't have a lane matchup they have to worry about counter picks in. But Andres knew that he's the key point in this comp. He doesn't want to get shut down by Kimao in the jungle, and he saw the Kazakhs. He was like, great. This is great. This is easy for me on Lee. I'll happily take this matchup. And I love it. Love to see it. We're going to get to see Andres' Lee Sin straight away in this game. It does mean that we're going to see Joey on another AP carry in the form of the Morgana, but it's a Morgana Galio bot lane. So you just push and roam and push and roam and push and roam and push and roam. A very strong anti-melee comp from Team Queso as well, with both the Diana and the Darius. It's going to make a lot of Formulations Gaming life of it tough, I think, when it comes to team fight situations. I don't know how Kazakh's team fights in this team, to be honest with you.
He's going to be in lots of trouble, because once you go in with Kazakhs, there's no way of going back. So once you commit to that, just do need to commit. And if the team fight doesn't go in your favor from this very beginning early participate, then I'm sorry, but it's already lost in that case, So I'm expecting to see Formulation taking things carefully, you know, maybe wanting to do some aggressiveness, down the top lane, but not really committing to be super aggressive from the very beginning, just a little bit, just enough to secure the mid game at least, because otherwise I think Team Queso has a perfect position to do the bread and butter, you know, just smash through those towers, get those kills going, rolling, and then just going through the game. I'm also very interested in seeing how Diana will face a matchup that they've got in front of themselves. So we're gonna go back in the game, well, back for the first time in game. And you said it, Joey, playing an AP carry and Gali, gonna be supporting there. I want to see what these two can bring, because once they start roaming, as you said, it's gonna be unstoppable.
I don't know. Like, I'm just worried for Formulation Gaming, because I just don't see how Keemao actually gets to play the game unless he snowballs. Unless they're able to kind of like play off the first objective fights and snowballs, I don't really see how Keemao gets to actually play this game in any way, shape, or form. Lovely pressure from Zawa on the Thresh already. And you can see the bot lane from Formulation just a little bit off to a better start in general. They've got a stronger all-in potential. They've got stronger dueling potential. And for Joey and Methanaut, they're probably going to be on wave clear duty for the most part.
However, they were trying to see if they had warded that Vash for Team Queso, which they hadn't. They had the ward a little bit more towards the red buff, which is going to be quite good for them, because I think Formulation Gaming right now doesn't know that there's a ward in there. But in any case, the beginnings are not always easy in this mid lane. You can see right now, just like here.
Going in, Joey doesn't actually have that black shield as of yet, but he's just clearing the waves. They've already used the hooks. They can't actually find that isolating blow onto one of these Team Queso bot lane members. You see there's a bit of mid lane prio going on right now for Vejos and Andres. They're looking to get that priority down, try and force Don into tower. And that's something else that we didn't mention, by the way. It's actually Renekton mid, which is a pretty solid answer into Diana in general. But you do kind of need to snowball it where you can. Andres is going to get away with smiting the River Scuttler, and they'll trade top for bot lane River Scuttlers for the time being, and handshake their way through the early game.
Finally, Gentleman's Pact, which is something that we haven't seen in the past few games. You know, it was always fight, and not really committing to like, okay, you do this one, you do this other one. But let's talk a little bit about jungle plaything right now, because it's quite opposite. You see Listen starting there on the top lane, making his road to the bottom lane in order to help Joey and Methanaut. My God. Okay,
I say Methanaut.
Methanaut. Okay, yeah. My English today is not working, it's broken. But in any case, quite a good plaything by Andres as always. And on the other hand, we've got Keemao, who's thinking, okay, maybe if I support Zed and they've Renekton here in the mid lane, they won't have so much trouble. You know, it might be better for them. Corki and Thresh are more of an independent bot lane. I think you can leave them alone. But talking about being alone, this is the party.
Oh, we have a huge ult coming out from the mid lane. Vejos is going to be forced to flush away, and Methanaut will do enough to buy some time as here comes Andre. First blood goes over to the Kha'Zix for the time being. Keemao actually doing a serious amount of damage to Andre. And Formulation Gaming have put their resources into mid, and it has worked out for them as they get that first kill of the game.
Well, working quite well for Formulation Gaming, as you said. This kill is going to impact Team Queso, I think, long term, long run. But for now, well, they want to go for another one.
Keemao really going for it on Andres, and he's taking a lot of damage here. She has to be very careful as Fico comes through. He can flush forward and take the kill if he wanted to. The exhaust. Just about. Andres gets through. That's a very aggressive positioning for Andres, and the information was not fed to him that Corki was roaming up. And Queso not looking so hot at the start of this game.
No, not mac and cheese in this case. We've got Queso going through a few struggles. We've got replay right here, but you can clearly see how Vejos is already in a top position, not being able to help his team. Done with the Renekton going down in life means that it didn't want to be going full melee on these other champions, and altogether kind of messy, but results in one kill for Formulation Gaming. And important to think about the sustain and this strong early that Renekton should be showing. You know, now roaming towards the bot lane and lane swapping perhaps a little bit, because this dragon is going to be so important. The mountain dragon going to be benefiting them a lot. And in exchange, Team Kaiser is gonna be taking the Herald.
Yep, they are going to take down the Herald. They're going to handshake this first objective, but it'll be the Dragon that goes the way of formulation. As the first series was anything to go by, Dragons generally equate to wins from today's games. So it's a good start for formulation. They've actually got a bit of a gold lead to work with as well, and they are in a good spot all round. Good place, I think, at formulation finding themselves, you know, especially versus Team Queso, the expected winners here, to actually come out and really put up a good start against Team Queso is a good situation to be in if you're formulation. Item spikes coming through as well. We have double Black Cleaver to really help facilitate and boost the power of Kimao on this Kha'Zix. And Vejos going into Dawn. It's a difficult matchup realistically for the Diana, but she won't go too hard here.
But she's doing well, I think. She should be proud of it. I think one of the advantages of Diana is burst plus easy that she can deal onto enemies, and burst is a Renekton that's going to be a good one. Because if there's something that he's struggling with is that, you know, that late game is going to be more complicated for him. But let's talk about it later, shall we?
Ooh, Acolyte looking for a dunk there, but couldn't find it. It's a good start, Acolyte. I think he's got a slight gold lead, but nothing crazy to work with. Joey's actually getting forced out by Fico here around this Dragon lane area. There is obviously a Rift Herald that we need to be concerned with. Andre gets picked off, obviously. He can't use that anytime soon. And Formulation Gaming, nearly 2,000 gold up over their opposite number. That first tower of the game is being focused down. You can see Andre is supporting Vejos here, but already Zawa and Kimao are there, immediately flayed, immediately exhausted. And Formulation Gaming are just playing so well around rotations right now.
It's a pity that the wall hook by Zawa didn't go through, because it will have been a double kill for Formulation Gaming, which will have put in even more of an advantage for themselves. Also, I'm seeing Gargoyle's Stormplate appearing already. I'm getting flashbacks from that one game in the previous series, you know, like I don't want to see the same going on. And finally, we've got Sweepers going in as well, which is going to be quite important for this mission to clear the vision, which is something that once again in the Navi versus Viv, we didn't see so much of it, and then it had a price. So in this case, the optimization, we were talking about it. We've got Jeremy's Ghostblade, we've got Leandri's Anguish for Morgana, yeah, for Joey. By the way, it is surprising me that 7 minutes in, we're not seeing more aggressiveness. I did tell you that I thought Formulation Gaming were going to take it slowly, but now might be the moment to start doing it for Team Kaiser. You know, they're grouping up, but they've been seen. And Scoundrel, for me, this is a breaking point, perhaps. Both teams seem very interested. Yeah.
It could potentially be a breaking point, that's for certain. I mean, obviously, these next objective spawns are going to be really important. And actually, I think if you're Team Queso, you're going to be second guessing yourself a little bit. You probably thought this was going to be an easier matchup, but you are getting really tested right now no. They catch him out. Great play from Zawa, and now they're trying to take down Joey as well. He drops a killing spree for the Kha'Zix on Kimao, and Queso, they look lifeless right now versus Formulation Gaming.
Absolutely. I feel like they're not really in the game, you know, like for some reason the objectives are being taken by the enemies except for that one hero, but for the rest of it, they didn't seem to be providing a good answer, a good contest to what Formulation is proposing. They're essentially playing whatever the enemies want to play. And here in the replay, you can see it clearly. With the enemy, I don't know what happened there, but the thing is, they got caught up so easily that it was not even funny. We were talking about how Joey and Methanaut, sorry, once again, weren't doing so well. We'll see what they can recover in this one play, because I can see it going bad for them again.
Yeah, got to be a little careful here around this objective. You can see second dragon goes down, and Vejos already struggling to find an in. You can see Yui just pushes Andres out of the fight right now. We're going straight in. There's the hero's entrance straight on top of Joey. He's already popped that stasis for the time being. They're going to try and take down Yui. When he does go down, the hook is there onto Acolyte. But they'll take the one kill for the dragon trade every day of the week. That's 2 dragons now locked in for Formulation Gaming.
Well, you know what they say, better kill than nothing, right? I mean, well, they didn't say that.
It is better kill than nothing. Definitely the case.
I mean, I will take that over getting another that onto the team. But at the same time, look at this mid lane. Oh my gosh, Scoundrel.
Oh my gosh, he got a shutdown Methanaut somehow picks up the kill there. Joey taken down to minuscule levels of HP. And unfortunately, it's actually the support that picks up the gold. But nonetheless, Team Queso is still able to convert on the objectives, and they'll pick up a tower. And that will put them in the gold lead for the very first time this game.
Wow, okay, finally for Team Queso, they're awakening. Have the Herald has been just taken off their hands. Towers seem to be not so much in the favor anymore. Like the Formulation Gaming Towers seem to be a little bit better in shape. However, Team Queso has two, so that's good enough for them already. Now, what I want to see is Acolyte doing something else, you know. Acolyte is actually a good friend of mine, and I'll tell you about it later because they seem to be dueling right now. Oh,
immediately exhausted, flashes away, gets flayed back into the fight, and Acolyte exhausted down, can't quite make the damage happen, can't quite get the healing going. And Formulation Gaming, this combo between Kimo and Zawa has been so impactful, and now they're just going to walk straight into Methanaut. Gets dragged back into the fight, the box is already up, Andre has to kick to buy the time, and he does. That was a huge kick, actually kept his teammates alive for the time being. Nothing that Team Queso can do right now to stop this mid lane tower going down either. And Formulation Gaming put themselves back in the gold lead.
You see, even though they were behind gold, I still felt like Formulation Gaming are kind of in the game. And Andres not being able to pick kills, Acolyte being kind of sleepy, don't know what's happening to him today. Again, I've talked to him several times and he always seems so confident, self-assured, that I will talk about later.
Vejos locked up here. Zawa might get dunked by Acolyte, but the stacks aren't there for the time being. Immediately dunked straight back into the fight. Acolyte doesn't have flash for the time being. There's the hero's entrance. He's going to get exhausted. Then he gets knocked up as well. Acolyte immediately uses the dunk just to try and get some damage down. Vejos is coming back in. Andre has picked up a kill. Joey doing what he can as he flashes into the middle. He has to use stasis, and he does. Just about gets away with it, but they're under the tower. Joey did it in a defensive way. They're not giving anything over to Formulation. A 1-for-1 at the end of that fight. Felt like it could have been more.
Now, the question for this game is who's carrying the team for Team Queso? Because Andres is, well, he's picked up a kill here. Acolyte has another kill. But then again, it seems to be very dispersed. And you can see it here in this team fight. But Vejos has to go away with this Diana that should be doing a lot more damage. Then you've got the initiation onto Acolyte. And then everything is just rolling, you know. The global presence that we were expecting from Morgana and Galio finally does something there. The SS is really helpful, but at the same time, I'm still missing something. This is not the Team Queso that we saw at the Origin series. This is not the Team Queso that we've been watching. I don't know what's happening there, but it's not what I was expecting. Oh, like here.
Andre just trying to desperately hold on to this tier 1, buy some time for his Vejos to get into the fight. Oh, Vejos messes up the ultimate, but Andre keeps going for the time being. He'll dive back in once more. They'll take out one, maybe trying to take out two here, as now Methanaut is the target. Andres finally comes alive around the Infernal Drake. And that will be one of the more important Drakes potentially going the way of Team Queso. They have to make sure they don't get out smited here. Kemal could maybe look for a last-minute smite attempt, but Vejos is going to do what he can to stop that from being the case. And Queso back in the game a little bit as they pick up the Infernal.
Queso. Okay, sorry, dad jokes. Well, they seem to be rotating now a little bit, you know, pretending, I think, to catch Formulation Gaming unaware, but they were seeing the vision for Formulation Gaming as being quite good. I think that's one of the key points here for them. As well as, again, Team Queso, who's going to be leading the charge here? Who's going to be in the in-game leader for you? That's another question they got for them if they're as an interview later on. Well, of course, with me full health level. But here, Acolyte, another big deal for him. He's been saying he's got the movie speed, he's got the tower to protect him, but can he turn things around now that his teammates are just backing away? Oh, top position for him. Again, I expected him to be more dominant at Sandril.
Yeah, I actually felt the whole team was going to be a little bit more dominant here. Joey, once again, I feel like when you've got this mechanical player like Joey and you're putting him on Morganas over and over again, it's definitely out of his comfort zone. Even when we had an interview with him last week, he said, I did not sign up to the AD carry role to be playing AP carries my entire life. Andres, to be a little careful here, they're going to pull in. Great engage coming out from UI, but Methanaut will pop the stone plate. Have to be careful of that versus the set, as we know. but they won't get punished too hard as the rest of Team Queso is there to back them up.
no,
As Keen
oh,
out.
no,
They
no,
played it,
oh, no.
Methanol taken down very low. Acolyte's maybe looking for the flank, but he won't be able to get it. And that will be Don, who locks them up with a stun, and that could potentially be Baron on the cards now. You can see that UI just taunting them to come towards mid lane. They're trying to buy a bit of time, use a bit of pressure to allow that mid lane tower to go down, as Don is also going to be the target here. That is a great play for Formulation Gaming, and Queso uncharacteristically sloppy around those mid lane plays, and they're going to lose a tower for it.
Losing towers, losing dragons, losing objectives, not really looking good for them. Now the Baron potentially, but they've been seen by Team Queso. You can see how Vechos is around the area. However, Smite is available for losing. They might. Oh, okay.
Joey's going in. Joey's
well.
going in. He has to use the stasis for the time being, trying to buy some time. It's very low. It's going to be a smite fight. They steal it. They've stolen Baron. Now Shavesha gets away with it, and another Acolyte comes in. He's going to start dunking. They're going down to stasis as well. Team Queso mount an insane defense around the Baron. Vejos steals it away, and that might be a nail in the coffin for Formulation, who really looked like they were on the edge of winning this game.
It was so quick and at the same time so inspiring for Team Queso. Okay, oh my god, the dead bodies that haven't respawned yet. They've got the potential now to push both lane, top lane and mid lane there, and they want to go for even more kills. Oh no!
They want to go for it, but it's a little bit too much. Zawa, now the target, going to pull him back in with the ultimate. Going to dive onto Fico, who will go down. That'll be the inhibitor tower that they at least take off the back of this. That was a 2 for 2. But they get the inhibitor tower. She doesn't respawn. And with Elder spawning soon, that is something else that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Andre is going to make sure that nothing exists in the enemy jungle. So Kha'Zix, neither Corki will have that red buff to work with.
Yeah, and that's gonna be amazing to see. You can see it here in the flash, jumping over the wall right there, ending it with the smite right at the point. And then it was just about, cornering them within the Baron pit, which is a perfect area for champions like the Diana to fight in with the Moonfall. You want to fight in these kind of enclosed areas where the enemy can't escape. They didn't have an exit, they didn't have an outlet to go to, so you just can't get the kill easily. And there we go. We'll start to see new utilizations more and more. You see the Ravenous Cap on Diana, empowering that AP really strongly. You've got Morgana going full AP with the Road of Ages, with the Leandris. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. And of course, Acolyte's composition. Even though Acolyte, once again, not shining in this game, Andres has finally awakened. And as for Formulation Gaming, I feel like Don is in a quite good role, but I feel like Dominus have been a little bit lackluster. But we'll see if they can fix it in this one team fight for the Elder, which I think they will try to contest.
They're trying to go for it. They're trying to get on to Zawa, who immediately pops the Gargoyle Stoneplate for the time being. Andre's already forced out, has the GA for going, and we have Vejos there on the Diana, still ready to go, but low HP buzz. He's onto the back line, trying to find the kill, goes back straight into the fight. It's the first kill over to Acolyte. Now they're trying to take down Corki. He gets downed. Unstoppable Don joins the fight. Low HP buzz all over the place. Resets are there, but the exhaust comes through. A double kill for Andre. It is a 3 for 2, but Queso certainly don't look healthy. This is a wild end to the fight, as they have Don still in the middle of the engage, ready to go in, takes down Andre for the time being, as Andre still wants to fight Don, flashes onto him, has the kick maybe, has the lifeline to work with, and it's godlike for Andre. Huge win for them. With the Elder on the field, they could potentially reset and go straight for this.
They are absolutely gone dirt. Salah has seen them, but he's got no one apart from like the bros that we see are going to be spawning in at least 8 seconds.
Wait a second, Fico's just bought teleport. Fico's bought teleport here. He has a 4-item Corki. He could definitely get into the fight if he has to. Zawa's trying to buy some time for the time being. There's the teleports coming through. They have to force this one down. They have to force this one down now. He gets it, he smites it, but they might end up losing the game for it because those teleports coming through. We've got teleports coming through with Casey as well. Andre's still going. He's still going. He's still taking on UI in the back line. It is a massive cluster around the Elder, but it is Queso that secures it. They're going to try and take down Kemal too. Obviously, this is the last right, so Fico, he tried his best, but the Sonic Wave will finish him off. That should be the end of the game for Team Queso. What a crazy set of fights that we've had over the last few minutes. It's not game over just yet, but the Elder going the way of Team Queso is a huge win.
Look at the backdoor by the minions once again. The super minions just destroyed the base. Well, a little bit. A little bit.
A little bit. Just a little bit of destroying. Just a tiny bit.
Destroying.
Tiny bit of destroying.
Tiny half of its life, half of Nexus HP. But well, in any case, we saw a team fight that could have gone either way. Right now, you see, once again going for the Baron. But what I was amazed about was how cold-headed you have to be able to keep, your mind cleared out of that, because you see this tip is coming in and you will be panicking. I'd be panicking at least. But Team Queso is like, okay, give me a second, we're going to be deciding who we're going to be going after. That's going to be quite important, just like this.
Fight around the Baron, they're trying to go for it. The Hero's entrance comes through. Acolyte gets the first dunk. Zawa's dead. Andre in the back line as well. They're trying to isolate members one by one. And Queso will force UI out of the fight. Acolyte buying time. The second dunk comes through, but it isn't quite the right target. But it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. Formulation Gaming can't compete with Queso when they're on fire, with the Infernal to work with as well, and the Elder on top. And that will be a complete sweep in this first game. Formulation Gaming made it hard as it could be, but it is Team Queso that come out with the first game with the win.
Right, okay, so many thoughts about this game. Team Queso didn't look their best, at least in this early, just skip that, 15 minutes. They really took a long time to just start laning up and snowballing, especially considering they had champions like Darius and Leeson, who you will think will do better in the early game. But no, they actually struggled quite a lot against Control, and I can't wait to see what they will bring up in the second game, because I'm hoping for some changes.
I think, if we look back at that game, it was a rough start for Team Queso. I think Formulation Gaming just had their number through the early game. They were constantly roaming the combo between Zawa and Kemal, just constantly finding those individual picks in the side lane. And they were able to very effectively threaten Team Queso at every stage in those early moments. But it was this moment right here that was probably the most impactful fight of the entire game. It was a beautifully mounted Baron defense by Team Queso, which obviously then resulted in them snowballing the game. They picked up the inhibitor tower on the top side of the map, which then allowed them to very effectively threaten the Elder, because they had constant pressure in the lane that's the furthest away from Elder. And then they played some wonderful team fights around the Elder Dragon Carmelite.
Yeah, and well, wonderful. Yeah, kind of. I mean, they were wonderful for Team Queso, but at the same time, they kept me on the edge of my seat, thinking what's going to happen now. Because in this one, for example, they were so low life, yet the damage cycle deal was so big that they were able to turn it around, which is something that I wasn't expecting. Also, Dunn's ultis, like the dominance on Renekton, were not as spectacular, I think. They were used either too early or too late in the team fights, which also didn't allow his team to get its full potential. And I mean, there was some misplays here and there. I still think Formulation Gaming is kind of, I think they can give us more. We've seen them defeating bigger enemies, so come on.
Yeah, I think they're good. They played really well. I mean, obviously, Don on the Renekton didn't have the game that he was potentially hoping for, but I mean, we still got like 4-item Corki, which is threatening in its own right. I mean, Fico very close to being late game powerhouse here. Joey was behind in terms of his own carry potential on that Morgana, but it was all about Andres. He had a bit of a rough early game, I would say, uncharacteristic for Andres, but he very easily came back in and went full damage like always. I love the full damage Lee that Andre always brings to the table. And you can see the damage output. It was massive from Corki, but we'd expect nothing less. Corki generally tends to run wild, but actually a very balanced damage output from everybody on Team Queso. Joey had some really big moments with those Morgana ultimates too. I think like Joey actually found some really great moments to go in and just go in and use the stasis at the right time as well. And it was only at 16 minutes did Queso actually turn the gold in their favor, but they did do it very quickly from then on out. And that allowed them to seal the game and take that first game in the series.
What I'm liking about these games is that they're able, they start one way and then you can never expect what's going to happen next. And I don't know if that's good or bad for the teams. Is it saying that they are unpredictable? Is it saying that they are not able to secure a win? I don't know, because at some points in this game we were thinking this game is done for Team Queso, and then they turn it around. So I need perhaps consistency. Give me some consistency, give me some early game. I'm saying a lot is no volume, but that's what I was used to seeing from them, and then it's not happening anymore. So yeah, give me consistency. Give me like the same flavor for the entire game instead of just switching like chocolate, vanilla, and then suddenly strawberry all in 20 minutes.
Should we take a look at the play of the game then, Caroline? Maybe it'll be chocolate, maybe it'll be vanilla, I don't know. Who knows what flavour this is going to be. Let's take a look. I think it's probably going to be the Baron play, surely. Yeah, it's got to be the Baron play. This was such a big moment.
Yeah, with the wave eye leading right there. It was amazing watching this unfold. Also, it's just so many things happen at the same time. Andres has to go away. So actually, after performing that masterpiece of a steal, he's gotta get away from his team. He's not gonna be able to survive a lot more in the world alone. So again, okay, give me more of that. Okay, that was mint, I think.
Okay, mint. That was not chocolate, it was not vanilla, it was mint. Guys, it's a question for you now. What flavour do you like? I'm assuming we're talking ice cream. These were all ice cream flavours. So what flavour is your favourite ice cream? And what flavour do you want this next game to be? If I had to choose, I'd maybe go for like a classic English, like, what do they call it? Rum and raisin? It's a horrible ice cream flavour. Actually, never try that. That is a horrible ice cream flavour. Guys, let's go to a short break. When we're back, we'll have our second game of this queso formulation gaming series. to the WREC European Championship, Team Queso won a very, very tense game against Formulation Gaming, where they had to come back off the back of a Baron steal, realistically, to get themselves back in the game. Carmeline, what do we think? What do we think about that first game? Was it the Queso that we know, or do we think we wanted to see a more consistent, solid game from Queso?
Okay, so this queso, so queso is cheese in English. It's like mac and cheese, like microwave mac and cheese, and I want to see something else. So yeah, I know I want to see something different. I want to see the kind of cheese that they serve you in France. It is so amazing, you know. But what is it?
Sorry, this is quite funny. It's just saying that how good Andres is and how he puts the entire team on his back. It's just like Andre just by himself, absolutely insane. What a great player. Literally 1v9'd most of the games that we've seen Andre play in. But I think everybody from Team Queso has their part to play. But Andre is something special. Definitely one of the best junglers in Europe, honestly.
Yeah, I remember him when I interviewed him on the early series, and he was so shy. But then you see him on the Rift, and you're like, what the potential he's got, you know, like how good he is. I'd be so proud of myself. I'd be like, oh yeah, of course, I'm the best jungler. Hey, hello, how are you doing? I don't know. I think I'd be the way, but I can't be the way because I'm so bad at the game. So yeah.
I mean, so am I, so don't worry. Anyway, someone who's not bad at the game is Hell's Devil, and he should be standing by with some key points to think about towards that second game.
That's right. Thank you so much, Xcano. And even though Andres was the obvious highlight of that game, I want to put some eyes on some other things as well, which is Team Queso's counterplay on the early game of Formulation. Formulation had the Renekton, they had the Corki package, they had the Kha'Zix. Team Queso didn't go for the objectives. They just let them get it, they tried to shake hands, and then they got into the late game. And I want to talk about someone else, which is Fekko. Fekko was able to actually feed himself incredibly hard in the early game. He was able to farm up and get like a 1,500 gold lead before 10 minutes into the game, which is obviously huge. And we saw it happen into the late game. He was dealing an insane amount of damage, but it was just not quite enough. And then I want to highlight the other ADC on Team Queso's side. I'm saying ADC because Joey Skaggs is famous for his ADC picks, right? Like as Xcando, exactly as he mentioned already. Joey Skaggs on the Morgana, it's good, right? But I personally, and I'm sure a lot of fans want to see it too, him on the carries, right? We see him in ranked. And I know him personally, I know how good this guy is. And I know that he has the potential to absolutely hard carry Team Queso, just like Acolyte and Andres are doing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Team Queso is going to be drafting the next game. So that is it for the key points for this game. Back to Carmine and Xcano to get us into the next game.
We heard from Joey in his interview last week. He, like I said in the game, he wants to be playing AD carries, but will play what the team needs for the most part. And if the team needs you to play Morgana, you play Morgana, and it worked out. There was actually some really impactful moments that Joey had in that game, flashing in, using the ultimate, stasis in the middle of the Baron pit, like all these things worked out really well. But of course, we have another game, maybe even two in this series, depending on how Formulation Gaming shape up. And if they bring the kind of fire they brought in the first game, we could be looking at a 3-game series going all the way here between Team Queso and Formulation. But once the Lion woke up, once Queso were on the field, they were much more able to sort of take control of the game and win it out relatively quickly. But we're ready to pick some bans now. We'll see if the sides have been switched up. Loser generally gets picked, and they will go for another blue side pick here for Formulation Gaming.
Yeah, which is good, I guess. I know I'm dancing. I'm happy to be here. Okay, so we'll see what they ban next. It could be the Olaf once again, first ban, of course. You obviously need to get through with this one. You don't want it to fall in the hands of Pandora.
What are we even dancing to? There isn't even any music.
That's true.
I'm just following
I don't
you
know.
now.
I'm just dancing to the rhythm of the bands, like whenever
The rhythm of the bands.
to dance a little bit.
The rhythm of the bands. All right. Oh yeah. See, there you go. That really tells you my age. Right. Bans and picks. Formulation versus Team Queso. It is Olaf. It is the Yumi once again banned on red side by Team Queso. And the Jacks, we're following the same pattern. Bans are not shifting just yet.
Hello, Formulation Gaming Team Queso. We actually on another game. Well, we can say right now, Thresh has been banned. Of course, you don't want Thresh. The Blazer, the boxes, well, yes, amazing in last game. You don't want to repeat that. That will, what I think that was what almost costed the game for Team Queso. So thank you for keeping it at bay. Now let's see what they've got in the store, because you need to ban some more things, bestie. You need to do something else to win this game.
You need to just get more bans. Like, you just need straight up more bans. You know, that's the thing. Just more of them needed to get you through this series.
Okay, Sad is being banned again. Okay, Sad, if you think about it, did have quite an impact in last game, as in like putting up with a frontliner, quite a strong one that made it difficult for Team Queso to actually reach the back line. So it does make sense for them to ban it, as well as the Varus. Once again, they don't want to let go to Fekoko. And on the hands of Formulation Gaming, we're going to have this Gragas repeating once again. Yeah, Coco, just read his name right there. I mean, have there been any games where we haven't seen the Gragas? I don't think so.
No, I think Gragas might be almost 100%. I don't know if he was banned last game, so it might be almost 100% presence today. So Gragas, the fat man, coming back out strong. It's going to be Corky prioritized. I imagine that's going to be for Joey. So Joey's on a more traditional lady carry this time round. We'll see what the second pickup is going to be here for Team Queso. It's going to be Renekton. So Renekton's going to go probably the way of Acolyte, but of course we have that flexibility of that pick.
Are we copying? Team Queso, answer me. Are we copying, taking notes out of Formulation Gaming? Is it what's happening? Is it? I see you. In any case, Fiora was banned in the previous game. We're going to have her here. Also, just in case Team Queso decides to suddenly switch Renekton to the mid lane once again, I think Darius to top lane. And Galio, I feel like both teams have gone like, okay, you know what, I will pick what you chose last game and you can take mine. And that's it. We exchange, like friendly exchange here. The Galio is going to work amazingly well with the Fiora. I think the Riposte combined with Galio's abilities and the wind of change is going to be amazing. And so it's going to be Gragas. I just think they need to find the perfect timing for this, because otherwise they can't counter themselves, amongst themselves a little bit with the Hero's Entrance and Gragas ultimate. But otherwise they should be fine. They should be doing well.
I think they've got a very strong kind of teamfight comp right now for Formulation Gaming. Like, you've got a really strong kind of like protect the Fiora. You've got a really strong ability to dive in with the Gragas. Zed for Vehos was banned previously. Feels like it's a bit more of flexing, kind of like flexing his muscles pick this time round. The Morgana actually gets banned away by Team Queso this time round. So very likely that it will be Joey on the Morgana this time, and it'll be the Graves ban. I wonder if Lee Sin is going to be banned this time by Formulation.
Yeah, okay. Do you think it's going to go? I don't think it should go through. I mean, either that Formulation knows clearly that even though Lee Sin is quite a strong pick in the hands of Andres, Zed, it's probably already been decided. Like, Zed has been played by him several times. It's in his freaking name, like you will assume he will play it from once in a while from time to time. So in any case, I think it's got ban going away here. You don't want the bombs to just go crashing into this rift right now in the hands of Coco and the Kazakhs. Once again, they're banning it themselves. They're like, okay, just in case Andres is not playing Zed or Renekton, what, we're banning this. Just it's better to prevent than to. It's actually in Spanish saying better to prevent than to. I don't know how to translate it. Essentially, just take precautions. That's the entire thing.
I'm sure that phrase does also exist in English in some way, but I also can't remember what it is. So I can't quite Hell's W here. I'm sorry. I can't quite do the same thing I did to Hells to Carmeline, because I can't remember the English phrase. But better safe than sorry. Is that the phrase? Like, better to be safe than sorry. That's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
There you go. We do have it. So I can Hell's W. Yeah. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, it is Garen that gets logged in for Formulation Gaming. So big, beefy frontline. But my little worry that I have for Formulation right now is that they really need a strong, consistent damage source. And I feel like it's going to have to be Orianna. It's, word, it's Akshan. That is an interesting pickup here. Akshan for Formulation Gaming. I really felt like Orianna was like the safe go-to in this situation, but it's Akshan. Very interesting comp all round from Formulation Gaming.
Action has been played once by Don. I think it was in the first game that they played for the WREC. But we haven't seen it since then. It's received a few changes in between the patches. So we'll see how it fares in the mid lane. And for Team Kaiser, we're going to have a Riven. Riven has been rising up in popularity in the past few games, the past few weeks. And I think it does make complete sense. You know, the assault and battery that she can provide. No, that's actually Vi, sorry. But the damages she can provide and the sustain as well, I think that both amazing assets for herself. And in the hands of someone like Andrea said, okay, you might not be playing Lizin, but you might as well be playing Riven, you know? Not the same at all. I know I made that comparison, but it is what it is.
I mean, I think Riven's an interesting pickup here. I don't know how nice Riven's going to find this game, and it's obviously for Andres. It's a very the big problem that I think you got for Team Keisu is you are like a really AD heavy team into Gragas, into Garen, and into Galio. Like they're all going to love armor. I mean, I think Gragas is probably going full AP, but like Zawa on the Galio goes armor, and then Garen's just going to go full tank, I think, you know, and you're going to get huge value out of that because Corki isn't a true AP carry either. He does 80% magic damage in general, but he still has a big physical component to his kit. So I think, again, you know, not exactly a sort of an easy comp to sort of play full AD into if you're the side of Team Queso. But interesting comps nonetheless, and we have got those picks and bans locked in, sorted, ready to go for our potentially final game of the day. It really depends if Formulation Gaming can bring the same kind of fire they did in that first game of the series here, Carmeline, or whether Team Queso goes back to what we know best for them, which is just that consistent, strong early game and good fights around objectives.
I need to do some jokes about Formulation Gaming as like chemistry and so on, but I don't know anything about chemistry, so I'll leave it at joke about chemistry right there. There we go. That was it. Okay, so for now we're going in game. Nothing particularly weird in the summoner spells that I can see. You know, we've got quite a few heals, quite a few barriers, quite a few ignites as well, which is going to be quite important in the hands of Garen. You know, just to finish off your enemies if you don't have enough with your mass injustice. Wait a second, we're going to be giving you this. But one thing that is surprising me right now is how people have lost their faith in Team Kaiser and they're going like, no, in this game, you know, 30-70%. That's what you're going to be dealing with.
Well, I think Team Queso are the expected victors, and you can already see that Fico has been taken super low, and I've got to just kind of take my bearings right now.
Okay.
That's a Gragas Galio bot lane, and obviously, as you mentioned, Don has gone the mid lane Akshan, but it's a really terrible bot lane to play into double ranged, if I'm completely honest with you.
I think they won't be too happy as the game goes on. At least that's what I'm expecting for it to happen. Is this a Corki and Nami, you know, with the bubbles, which by the way, they're not called bubbles, they're called Aqua Prison, but we all call them bubbles for some reason.
Because they're literally a bubble. I mean, it's a bubble.
Yeah, but it's not called a bubble, it's called Aqua Prison.
I know it's called Aqua Prison, but I'm just saying it is actually a bubble.
I know you know. I'm just saying no.
Oh, there's a flash onto Corki. Joey's Gag's taken very low here. He's going to have to flash across the wall to keep himself safe. Kemal taken down very low. Andre's looking for the final hit. He actually gets a heal. Smites on the river. Scuttler. Andre does the same, but it's not enough. And Veos can't quite find it. Gets the kill in the time being. There's the bubble, the Aqua Prison, as Carmeline says. And that is actually a fight that goes the way of Formulation overall. It's a 2-for-2, but Formulation come away with the River Scuttler, which is a good result.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, no, it is actually a good result. If we watch at if we look at the replay right here, you can see how they get stunned by the Aqua Prison, aka Bubble. Kimiao being quite low in health, also slowed down. But I think Andres said made a mistake in here, just getting in the middle of the enemy team, getting killed quite quickly. And then you leave Joey and Methanote just on their own devices, and they've got no other choice but to keep on fighting. And Nami being so squishy, you didn't want to risk it. But one thing that I like about Nami is the Evan flow, which allows you to damage the enemy team and heal yourself. So that's always a nice, a nice little tool. Not like Soraka, which is more skill shot. You, as Nami, you choose the enemy that you want to focus on, and then it'll do it itself. So good play right there, at least for both teams. 2 kills going for each of the mid laners, which will play an incredible role coming up in the next few minutes. But another thing to be mentioned is the freaking Christmas tree Formulation Gaming has got going on in the entire river. Up top to bot, look at it, look at the beautiful wards placed in every single bush that there is in the river zone.
Yeah, they've got a lot of vision control, especially for these neutral objectives that are going to be spawning in the next few minutes. I will point out that Don has got a pretty sizable gold lead right now. He's in a great spot, and he's looking like he could snowball off the back of a Blaze of the Ruin King pickup here. Obviously, Vejos picked up the 2 kills himself, but didn't quite get the same gold injection that we saw our boy Don get. And obviously, the Akshan is one of those picks that can really, really kind of snowball out of control here if he can make this work for himself.
Will he be able to make it work? That's another question that we should be debating about, as well as debating about who's going to be taking it to objective. For now, it seems like Formulation is looking more into the Herald up in the top lane, and Team Casey is looking perhaps more into the Infernal Dragon. First Infernal Dragon, I think that's something that every single team wants to fight against. You know, like, you see an Infernal Dragon, you're like, okay, I'm going to be heading straight up here. But why not fight a little bit before, you know? Why not, okay, I'm seeing you go there, maybe I will change my perspective on this, or maybe I want to fight you right now. Corki using the shield right now, the passive going on up there, and it seems like nobody's really deciding what they want to do except for the bot lane, where Vejos is just running away from the enemy team. So we'll see who decides to take ward, but I think it'll be quite interesting to see who gets the first one.
Lots of good vision control for Formulation Gaming as well. They have a really great teamfight team, and that's something that you have to remember. The Hero's Entrance is coming in range. Have a Nami bubble to try and buy some time. We do have that Corki package ready to go if we need it. Smite is not there. Actually gets stolen away by Formulation Gaming. And already the teamfight's breaking out. It's going to be, I think, UI that goes down. Vejos manages to pick up the kill. He has his ultimate left available if he wants to go for it, but will get taken down very low. Goes in, takes out the Fiora, and now going to go into Fico. Two. That's a really great team fight from Team K. So despite losing the Dragon, they get an excellent fight off the back of it. And you can see the Acolyte desperate to try and chase down Don, who just about escapes with his life. No one dies on the side of Team Queso. They're immediately pinging to go towards that Rift Herald, although I will say a little risky because you can already see that Formulation Gaming are back on the map.
Absolutely not sure if I would do another design back away. We can see here in this replay how they did amazingly well with the tidal wave, taking over about 3 team members for Formulation Gaming. Then the bubble. Honestly, Nathaniel is right on fire in this one team fight, as well as of course Acolyte. I have to say, in this one play, it was really good. Well done by him and Vejos. So basically, the entirety of Team Queso. That's why I have to say, I think they're playing really well. And for Dunn, I feel like he's really finding his speed in this game. Like as Akshan, he's got these 2 kills, but besides that, not anything else. I don't know how Akshan plays that well into this composition, because you need to be playing in close areas with loads of walls to be able to use the full potential of this champion. And for now, that hasn't been really taking place. So we'll see what happens right now.
Oh, Andre maybe overstepping just a little bit. Has to be very careful for the time being. Great wave coming up from the Nami. Really, really good kite back, but I think it is an easy execute. Andre just oversteps with that ribbon. And of course, Vejos has most of the gold right now for Team Queso. He's 4-1, and he was side lane split pushing for that fight to take place. And I think Team Al just able to very keenly execute Andre here on that ribbon. But we'll be buying enough time for him to come back into the fight right now. We still have that Dominus available. We still have Vejos available as well. You can see a lot of damage coming out from UI for the time being. We're going to see Acolyte jump in.
Acolyte
Doesn't quite get the smite, as Andre was not there. So they'll secure the objective, but they trade 1-for-1 as well. Now, what can they do? They lose 2 objectives, so you really hope that Team Queso can try and push on a middle tower or a tower in the top lane or the bot lane and hope to use that to kind of, I guess, stop the Rift Herald take feeling so bad.
Yeah, we'll see what Formulation Gaming decides to use this one, because the towers are again destroyed both in top lane, the mid lane, and mid lane in the bot lane. But you really want to make sure that you know what you're doing at this point in time with the Herald. You know, you don't want it to go to waste. You don't want it to go to an easy lane. So it's going to be really important for them to be able to plan ahead of this, because for now, for the time being, Team Queso has the advantage both in gold and kills, not in objectives. So just exploit that, you know, exploit that a little bit, exploit the inability that the composition has in order to take objectives, and that way you might be able to get some picking kills here and there and win the game. if they do that, I think that's a win condition right now for Team Keso. It's more like stay together, don't just stray. I know you got to-do lists, but please don't just risk it for nothing. Plan ahead well.
I love the triple cleaver build, by the way. We've got 3 triple black cleavers coming out, or triple black cleavers coming out for Team Queso. Just because their top side of the map is so AD heavy, they want to be building those black cleaver stacks as much as physically possible to make sure that they're sort of the AD damage that the AD damage threats that they have are going to be good enough in this mid game. Vejos stuck in a side lane versus the Garen, and that's the problem that I think Vejos is going to have. It's very difficult to push side lane advantage versus a Garen. He will just soak your damage and clear the waves and get away with it as well.
Yeah, also, as I said, you might again want to face someone. Okay, you're good at the 1 versus 1s, but as you said, you're being kind of stuck in there. So once you go in, once again, even if the shadow is with you, you're gonna have a little bit of issues in that one. Getting the cooldowns reduction due to the passive is gonna be another interesting one, as well as its potential teamfight for the Dragon. Sorry, now that Formulation Gaming has distracted Team Keso in order to push in that top lane with the Herald, which let's see if it manages to do anything because it's kind of far away from the tower. So it must be almost a thing of run out of time rather than wanting to do it.
Oh, he's Acolyte, has that Dominus ready to go. Immediately jumps onto Speaker, who's taken down super low. They're trying to take out Acolyte with that Grand Challenge, and he'll be dropped. Oh, he gets taken down. Oh my word, the ebb and flow still going. Vejos there as well. Vejos silenced and gets locked up. They don't trade 1-for-1 at the end of the day, and Andre, desperate to make the play happen, uses his wind slash over the wall, but he can't quite find the kill until he goes too deep. Trying to trade back onto the Garen. Can they do it? Acolyte just needs 1 more basic attack. He can't find it. And actually, Formulation Gaming come out on top here versus Team Queso. The tower doing a significant amount of work, and Queso unable to capitalize on what was a good initial engage.
This is a great problem for Queso. I feel like the only really properly ranged champion that you've got is Nami, as well as Corki. But then said Riven and Renekton might need to be a little bit closer to objectives, whereas if you look at Formulation Gaming, you've got the Galio, you've got the Gragas, to disengage as well, and even to send you over to the tower if they want to. So that might be an issue moving forward, especially if you can take out use Garen in the early minutes, the early movements of the team fight.
Oh, they're going in here. Joey's trying to find the engage. But it will be Formulation Gaming that's just able to walk away over the wall. Maybe you can get mid lane prio here. Mid lane prio would be a really big deal. Might be able to set them up to take the mid lane tower, but I think should have enough people to stop that from going down easily to Team K. So as you can see, that Zawa is here already. You can see the Don on the sideline.
Oh, Andres.
Just looking for his kind of angle, and they actually get stunned onto Zawa. Zawa immediately forced to flash away. Great retreating tidal wave coming out from Methanout there as Andre is the target of an attempted takedown from Don, but it won't quite happen. And Team Queso push a little bit further than they can manage. They're going to start up that Rift Herald for the time being, but it looks like Formulation Gaming aren't done yet. They're ready to fight this one.
For me, Team Queso in these few minutes, they're looking like we're going to try, but we're not actually going to get it. They try and try and try, but they are not able to complete the objectives. And look at here, they're gonna get the kill onto Nami from Formulation Gaming side. I think that's the issue with Team Queso right now, is that they set their sights on something, they want to do it, they don't end up doing it. By the way, that tower in the top lane, the Herald hit it, then it was not destroyed.
It's
by
one base. It's one basic attack.
Yes.
Like they can just walk up and shoot this. Like
that's
easy.
that.
Easy tower take.
Peasy.
I'm not sure about Andre's Riven, by the way. Every time I've seen Andre play Riven, he doesn't play very well. And
I know.
Just as I say that, he gets killed. And now Joey might be dead. And Joey's dead.
What's going on? Okay, Team Queso, we need to talk about this. See, what's happening here? Like, do you need to talk, Team Queso? Do you need to talk? What's going on here? Andres is not finding his right footing with this Riven. Then you've got Acolyte, who is using Dominus okay-ish. I think he's the one sparking light for Team Queso in this one game, as well as Vejos. But then Joey is taking once again the back seat, which is something that I think he shouldn't have to go through. Like, he's been proved to be a quite good carry player, so just give him a little bit more resources, give him something. And Methania now, again, it's the same case for him. No, not till the kill. Okay, not till the kill, nice. On the side of Formulation Gaming, the main carry is as usually done as well as Kimia, but we'll see, because I feel like these two bot lanes are not really having the protagonism they should be having, and that could cause them the game if that keeps going on in the later game.
Andre again just overstepping a little bit here. As you can see, Kemal jumps in. Methanol has to force the flash away. Really actually good counter engage from them, and they go in, get the stun. Kemal forced to flash. They want to take this fight. Fico immediately has to use the stasis. In comes the Garen. They've caught Joey out. He can't get away. He gets judgmented down. Acolyte in the front line stuns away and finds the kill. Straight onto the back. Vejos is available and immediately forces the stasis out of the mid laner, and Don forced to flash away. That was a great counter engage. Joey kind of put himself in melee range, but the rest of Team Case are able to carry this one out. And maybe if they push hard enough, they're going to do it. I think they could maybe try and make a crazy play for the inhibitor tower, but actually Baron on the cards?
Yeah, apparently, yes, that's yes for them. Fiora scored her ultimate. Maybe that was bait. They can't make it. They didn't have the time. They didn't have the damage to do it just yet. Fiora and Akshan were rotating towards the objective, but then again, they didn't have the summoners up still. The ultimates are still recharging. It's not best time to do it, you know. Like in your case, it's Formulation Game right now. You want to take a few minutes perhaps to just recover from that one, just like they had to recover from this other one. You had the riposte by Fiora, you had the parry as well, the hero's entrance by Galio, but in the end it didn't even matter. You can see it clearly how they were focusing Garen for a few seconds. I think Team Kesa were able to identify that this was not the best idea, and then they unleashed Andres Zed once again. And I think the Ribbon combined with the Zed is quite a good matchup, quite a good pair. Don't give the enemy a second to react to whatever they're trying to propose, and that's going to be so good if they can keep it up.
They're actually going to try and take down this top lane inhibitor tower if they can, and they're not even trying to stop this dragon from going down. You can see that it is Andre by himself sidelining Zawa, caught out. Vejos immediately uses the ultimate. They get a great bubble. It's a huge bubble. That's a massive play from Vejos and the rest of the team Queso. They may even get the inhibitor tower. They do. Andre by himself onto Don into the base, but will be able to get away. Don will probably find the executing blow here. Will actually be the judgment from Garen, but what a play from Vejos and from Methanaut right there. Absolutely creamed the backline of Formulation Gaming and might even give over this dragon. I say that Vejos is silenced, stunned. Joe, you can use the ultimate to jump away, keeps himself alive with the stasis for the time being. Here comes Acolyte, Don taken down low, and Vejos will escape. The Acolyte's still going, but the Sterak's gauge is enough to allow you out. Oh, Corky! Oh, Joey flashes forward, finally gets a taste of the action. And now Team Queso pushing down mid. Vejos has been an absolute beast this game on the Zed. Like, unbelievable play. But I've got to give credit to Methanaut as well. I really do think he's played an excellent game of Nami.
Absolutely, like those tidal waves, those aqua prisons, those FM flows, every single thing that he's been doing has been amazing, I think. Quite on point. This is an example of how you can play an aggressive Nami. Many people think that playing Nami means that you're going to be sitting back in the back, you know, and being kind of passive, but it's not the case. When you're playing Nami, you need to know what you're going to be setting your sights on, what you're going to be using your bubbles on, what's the most efficient way to use the FM flow. If you haven't thought about it yet, I'm a quite big Nami fan. I play it quite a lot. And yeah, that's essentially what you need to know. Who you're going to give the boost to as well, the third ability. That's going to be quite important. And I think Methanaut has been doing it amazingly well in this one game. Now, will he be able to keep doing that when it comes to team fights? Absolutely, yes. The tidal wave allows you to set team fights quite well. You just engage the enemy, they get knocked up. And even if at that point Coco decides to use the Galio's ultimate, then there is no way you can escape from that. So that's something looking forward to if that happens again. But for now, it seems like UI is going to be chased again, like for the quintuple time in this game.
Vejos just able to side lane by himself. No one really able to stand up against him, especially now he's got the Serraldo's grudge in tow. Nice little bubble. Andre smells the prey, jumps in, tries to find the kill. Straight onto Coco, who's over the wall. Why am I saying his full name now? You made me say his full name all the time. UI, now the target. In goes Vejos with the ultimate. Great separating blow from the cast, but the stasis is enough to buy time as Joey once again on the front line gets taken down. This is actually a bad fight for Team Queso for the time being, because you can see Kimau is there, finds the kill. finds the first blow, and Queso may be overstepping as they want to, as they flash away. Acolyte now the target, gonna use the slice and dice to try and get out, and now Methanol using the bubble to try and buy some time. But this was a bad fight for Queso. They didn't need to go that hard. Joey again on the front line, didn't even use the exhaust and gets taken down.
Also fighting exactly what you want Akshan to be fighting with the Akuma pants. You know, with Akshan, again, you want to be able to be close to walls that are not so far away from each other. So the river is not in the kill area, but this bot lane is the perfect place to do that, to do the hook shots. So once again, you can see it clearly here how they are doing quite amazingly. Then you've got Sour just being focused at this point with the bubbles, but in the back you've got Kimiao flanking, doing again quite a good job at doing this. And then there's no escape. Oh my gosh!
Oh my god, they're going for the Baron right now, trying to put the teleport in. Don't quite get it. Vejos over the wall. They tried to go for a crazy Baron steal attempt again, but this time round Formulation Gaming are the ones that are actually ready for it. They're going to take Acolyte down so low for the time being. He'll try and dive away, won't be able to get away with it. And Andre and Joey Skaggs, oh my word, a single ult from Don on that Akshan. Acolyte still trying to keep himself alive, by the way. Won't be able to do it as UI picks up the kill. This is a bad space for Team K. So they suddenly went for dominant to being 4K gold behind, and they're going to teleport in. They want to win this right now. They're teleporting in. They want to find the end of the game. Joey does have that package available if he needs it. He's going, oh my god, Joey, what on earth are you doing, my man? He's trying to clear the wave, but all he's done is split it up. They're trying to push down heavily. Joey does manage to get the final blow. They're trying to get the final backdoor here, but it doesn't quite happen. Joey actually made the hero play, but it's another wave coming in now, and I don't know if they've got time to defend this.
Okay, Vejos is back in the game. I don't think they have the time.
They haven't got it.
We're going to go to a third game.
A single throw. Formulation Gaming bring themselves back in with a chance at this series. And I'm going to be honest, that was just all off the back of that bot lane play. I have no idea what happened at the back off that bot lane play. It was absolutely crazy that they just went that far and just got punished that hard. But great response from Formulation Gaming and Team Queso. Please don't give. Andre, don't play Riven. Every time you play Riven, you seem to do badly. It's not you. It's a curse. It's the Team Queso Riven curse. Every time I've cast Team Queso playing Riven, Andre it's a curse. They lose.
Have you thought about it the other way around? Like, have you thought about it being you casting Team Queso when they play Riven and them listen? That's
a bit too specific. No, I think my first one was correct.
Okay,
but also Vejos on Zeds, you got to ban it. I feel he's too good, but nonetheless, I mean, Team Queso just couldn't make it happen, could they? They unfortunately couldn't make these team fights happen. Joey was frontlining, face tanking a little bit too much for my liking in some of these team fights. But nonetheless, massive props to Formulation Gaming. They've brought us all the way to a third game series.
I think they played. I don't think neither of these teams has played really well in this game. I felt like Team Queso had it the pan by the handle, then suddenly they lost track of what they were doing, giving up too many objectives in the beginning. Then Formulation Gaming comes back, and what do Gordon there is basically Formulation Gaming being like, you know what, we've got a Garen, we've got a Fiora, we've got a Galio, where Beckers wasn't able to do anything with Zed. Like, Zed will go in, buy champion. It didn't exist anymore, and that was one of the biggest issues for them. So I'm hoping they can rethink the strategy for the next game, perhaps give us something of what we've seen them do in the past, but in a better fashion.
Yeah, I think also you've got to be very, very conscious that Zed in this game, you're going up against a Garen who just look at how much armor he had. You're going up against a Galio. You're going up against a Gragas who went basically full armor almost as well. You know, you're looking at three people you really can't easily kill on Zed, and then the only person that you can kill is Don, and he's difficult because he's got stasis, and then Kimao's got the riposte. It's a hard game to play a Zed in, despite some of the other game. And Andre, you could see his impact wasn't felt on the Riven. Really couldn't actually make many plays that game. Joey did do a lot of damage, but I just feel like too many times he was melee range on Corki in these team fights. Methanol, I think, had a good game, but nonetheless, it was a great comeback from Formulation Gaming, and we're going all the way to 3 games.
Woo! Roller coaster of a goal difference you see here. But I don't even know how to describe it. It just goes up and down in favor of each team. So I think it's going to be interesting to see who's going to survive.
Yeah,
Loads of friendships going to be broken, etc.
A lot of friendships going to be broken. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Very very specific way of saying tough series. Let's take a look at the play of the game and see exactly what the best play of this series was. And I think probably going to be a good formulation gaming one. You feel? Yeah, it was the one where Team Queso just went too deep, Carmeline.
Exactly, you can see that Andres said getting in the middle of this, just almost being hit by the tower. Becco is also getting not hinted, but just getting quite close to teamfight without being able to do much because of the melee trait of the champion. And then from that point on, it was just a disaster for them. Nothing to be done about it. Acolyte is flashing his light and dies in Necrosis teamfight. Mythan Note just he had flashed already, so what could he do besides it? Nothing.
Yeah, it was overextension, and as you mentioned, I think the key moment for me there was the fact that Garen ult is AoE in Wild Rift. It hit like 4 people, so a bit like that set ultimate from the previous series. Like there was a huge impact Garen ultimate in that fight that I think really did a lot of damage to the majority of the Queso roster. But we have got another game. Queso need to get it together, or otherwise they could be staring the exit of the WREC. Formulation Gaming certainly surpassing expectations, in my opinion. Both games have shown how close they are to taking Queso down, and in fact even did. We're going to go to a quick break. We're back. Last game of the day. We'll see you there.
Ready?
Welcome back to the WREC. We've got one more game coming your way between Queso and Formulation Gaming. And Formulation certainly have made this series interesting. One more game, one more chance to make it through to the losers bracket final, where you'll place up against Viv, and you will then have that chance to then go further in as a top 4 team of the WREC. But this is your last chance saloon if you're both Queso and Navi, Formulation. And Formulation are one game away from upsetting the apple cart here. They're really, really very close to making this a genuine reality.
I think they just need a little bit of a push. But Formulation Gaming, if they play like they've played this game, they can take it away. And it's so dangerous because I feel like I honestly don't want to say goodbye to any of these teams.
No, they're all great players. They are all absolutely like fantastic players in their own right, and great teams too. And I don't want to say goodbye to any of them, but of course, competition we have to. So we're going to decide which team is going to make it through this series. Will it be Queso? Are you going to stick with Queso here, or are you going to waver in your Spanish loyalty and maybe think about Formulation? No, you're not wavering in your Spanish loyalty. Why is the point even asking that question? Of course you're not. Of course you're not.
I mean, I understand you cannot understand the feeling because you didn't have actually UK teams, so... Yeah,
that's true. We don't.
I get it.
Although, actually, RICS is technically a UK team, I believe. So, actually, we do. So, there you go.
Well,
right. Speaking of which, we're going to go over to the Hells Devil key points for our final game of this series. What are we going to look out for, Hells?
I have a lot of key points, so let me just quickly talk about it. First of all, Akshan plus 4 front lines. It worked like a jam in the late game for Formulation Gaming, and even though they were losing the early game, they made it work in the late game. And although Team Queso lost, I still want to have this as a key point. Never give Vegos sets. And having this as a key point is a big thing, right? Like, key points are supposed to be about the game, and the fact that I've put this right here shows a lot. Vegos on the Z is just beyond incredible. It's so incredibly powerful. And then another thing that Team Queso did very well in this game was their split pushing. Even though they had the Corki, who is incredibly good at these objective fights, they were actually split pushing very effectively with the Z and the Renekton throughout the game, which applied a lot of pressure in the early game and gave them the massive advantage. But then we come to the fourth point. Key Meow was incredible performance on the Fiora. He was able to secure every single objective he was contesting. He stole away dragons from Andres. He just dominated the jungle in the late game and really showed what he was made of. And that's what's going to make this third game even more interesting, because we know how good Andres is, and especially if he's put on a good champion. And now we see how good Key Meow is as well. So that's going to make the third game very interesting. Back to Carmine and Xcandro to get us into this interesting third game.
Yeah, I think we are into a final game now, and it is all on the line between these two teams. And if you win, you're going through to Viv. You're a top 4 team, WREC. If you lose, you're out of the competition, and you're going to have to make your way through the last chance qualifier to potentially make it to those live finals. So it's going to be a wild game, and I'm expecting both teams to bring their absolute best. Definitely want to see Queso shape up their draft a little bit, though. That draft felt a little wonky to me. I was talking actually with Snitch in the break about why Riven and what was the point of the Riven pick there, even though we didn't feel it was particularly strong. And it was partly due to the fact that Riven is a brawler and there wasn't many other good brawlers on the table, and you couldn't pick Lee because there wasn't many great lanes to gank. So, apparently it was just the only pick that kind of fit that role of being a brawling jungler. But it still didn't feel like it had the impact. Still didn't feel like it was the right pick. And maybe there wasn't a right pick, Carmeline. Maybe there was just not a right pick in that scenario. Maybe the draft from Formulation Gaming was just too good. And that last pick, you were stuck between a rock and a hard place. But that's what Queso wants to avoid this time round.
Yeah, Mr. Scandal, I told him put pro players in the breaks in between games.
How I guess it's good to get info. It's good to educate yourself.
Share that info, Scandal.
I can't type to a pro player and then type elsewhere at the same time. It's difficult. I'm not a man of many typing skills.
People who walk and do that, people who just take what is being said and then they translate it. But in any case, it's fine. It's okay. We'll forgive you.
Thank you. I appreciate being forgiven.
We'll forgive you for this one. We don't forgive a snitch though. This one, we keep it in our hearts, okay? But not provide this information to us.
Okay, well, I think I count as the collective us. Like I hope that I'm counted as the collective us. But regardless, Carmeline,
Yeah, you do.
your Spanish brethren are on the line here. They've got their hearts and their games on the line. Their
Yeah.
last chance for Spain. We're into the picks and bans. Let's see if Queso shifted it up and have gone over to either blue side or red side. Now, Queso have played red side every single game so far, and that's going to change.
Oh.
They're going over to blue side this time round.
Well, I was about to say that considering that I love Spain and Spain doesn't love me, then I guess will do care about what Team Queso does in this case. I want them to win. Garen is going to be banned. No more spinning me round and round in this game. Like we don't want to see that anymore. We've gotten tired of this spinning. So Olaf going to be banned again for Andres said for one game. Please, can we please? Like, is it too much to ask for him to play one game? Does he have to ban in every single competition he plays in? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think Yumi going banned as well here, so they're not going to give that over to Team Queso. The Thresh, because Zawa made an impression on the first game on Thresh. He's not going to get his hands on that champion this time round. And we'll see what the final pick is going to be. The Varus ban. So Varus has been banned pretty frequently here by Team Queso. Final ban for Formulation Gaming. There's a lot left open. There are things like the Fiora still available. And we'll see whether Formulation decide to take the Fiora off or let that open as a first pick. It's going to be Jax this time around. Plenty of other brawling junglers up and available, like the Fiora, like the Lee Sin. So we'll see where Team Queso choose to go with their first pick.
Well, that's a good question that we are all asking. They could choose to give a little bit prior to Andres said in this case, get him on a comfortable pick. Maybe they choose to give that to Acolyte once again with the Darius. The choices, there are many choices to be made here, but it'll be a Fiora here, which could be going either way. But okay, if I think about it, I can't really picture Acolyte with anything that isn't a Darius at this point.
He's a good Fiora player. I've been crushed by Acolyte in solo queue many times on his Fiora. He's a brilliant Fiora player. So I think could be, but the flexibility of Fiora is good, right? That's going to be the Gragas though. Gragas I think has been really good for Zawa, and I think again another flexible pick that doesn't give away too much about your draft. We'll see what the second pick is going to be here for Formulation Gaming.
We'll see in just a few seconds. You can complement it with many things. The Galio was a good choice, a good pair for this Gragas in the last game. So maybe we'll be seeing this in this next game. Maybe we will be seeing something like the Kha'Zix, for example. It's still in the right of Andres said, giving it to Kimia. I think is quite a good option here. Again, the first game didn't work quite well. The ganking situation was not particularly brilliant, but you never know. Maybe in this game we're rethinking of what we want it to look like and rebuilding for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see the set come through here. So I think when you see a Kha'Zix, you want to build a composition that makes it very difficult for him to jump in because he'll get CC'd or it'll be difficult for him to isolate a target. And so things that are just beefy and hard to kill usually make Kha'Zix's life pretty miserable in general. Morgana is available here. I was going to say, I think Morgana would have been a good pick, especially for Joey. It means that he can play safe. And also means that you have something that can protect against like the isolating barrels of the Gragas and stuff.
Yeah, I think also the Dark Shield is going to be quite useful in this case. And as you said, this is going to be amazing to stop the Kha'Zix, with all this easy and the area damage that Morgana does. Quite a good combination here, just like the Gali that we were talking about previously, going to be accompanying the Gragas in here. So I'm very excited to see what it might be causing here for both of them. What I see from Team Queso is a composition that is very oriented towards team fights and also towards stopping the Kha'Zix. And for Formulation Gaming, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more about engage and disengage when needed with Galio, but also with Gragas as well. So with the barrel rolls, you never know what to expect, and I'm really waiting to see how they decide to round up and close its respective compositions. Yeah,
we're going to be waiting for the final bans coming through. Alistair here, obviously versus heavy melee comps. Alistair is pretty strong because you can get multiple man knockups. He's really good at disrupting front lines, and so that makes a lot of sense. kind of wouldn't be surprised to see a potential Darius ban. The only reason I say that is because obviously Set can still be flexed into the mid lane if you really wanted to for Vejos. Zed, it's not an awful Zed game. I'd say it's not looking like a great Zed game either for Vejos, but obviously that is a pick that he plays exceptionally well. And so, you know, I think given there was only one blunder in the previous game, you know, Zed could still be a relatively good option. I do like the Braum ban though. Methanor is a very big Braum player. And again, it's another good game for a potential Braum pick here. Let's see what the final ban will be here for Team Queso. They're banning the Corki. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Orianna banned away to make it so that you don't have a very strong, like, control magey type player. Or the Kaiser as well could be another solid ban, I think.
Oh, okay.
Ziggs. How did Ziggs get this far down the draft?
I actually know. I was thinking about it right now. Okay, and neither of them have decided to choose it. But interesting one here. In any case, we're gonna be back to the picks here in the hands of Formulation Gaming. And now they've got plenty of choices. You still have your AP, AD carry to be chosen. Maybe your mid laner, depending on where you're sending the Gragas and the Galio as well. So we're gonna have Renekton, which still leaves options quite open, to be honest. But I wasn't a particular fan of Renekton in this series. I don't think I'll be fan of Renekton like ever in my life. But there we go. We've got a little bit of a source of damage, a source of sustain, and a source of basically headaches for the enemy team.
I like Darius here. I actually do. I actually think Darius has got a good comp to play into. Diana is also another good option. Anything that feels like a good anti-melee. And I think that's a really sensible pick from Team Queso, if I'm honest with you, because it's just like, I see 4 melee champions. I'm like, that's great Darius territory. And like obviously feels the same. We'll see what the final pick is here. Whether we see like a wild switch of set support, which would be very interesting for Methanor, or we just see something that complements Morgana and prevents them from getting pushed in the bot lane.
Ooh, never seen it right now.
Ooh, it's Morgana support.
Vayne. Okay. This has happened in the past. This stamina has appeared, Carmeline. You know, like, it's nothing weird. It's nothing new. It's appeared. Okay. Now, yes. Okay, I can come to terms with that champion making it through. Okay, so Vayne plus Morgana, mobility all the way. You know, that's gonna be quite a good one. A little bit squishy, but you've got that shield. And what's going on?
This is taken a wild turn. This draft has taken a very wild turn in the final game of our series. It's Gragas. I feel like it's going to be Gragas Misfortune bot. And they're going to try and put pressure on Morgana Vayne as much as they can. Like, Misfortune is a very, very difficult matchup for Vayne because she's a short range AD carry. Misfortune kind of eats that alive, and double up makes it very difficult for her in the laning phase. Vayne is such a Joey pick. It's probably Joey's best pick in terms of like his individual prowess. And he's probably seen 4 melee champions and thinks that he's going to be able to outplay all of them on the Vayne, with the Morgana obviously in tow. But he's going to have a tough time in the laning phase versus the Misfortune. Very interesting draft. A lot of CC for FMG. And I think that's a good thing. You always like to have CC, but lots of great anti-melee champs. And it's going to be a set mid as well, unless it's set support for Methanor. But I'm imagining it's set mid. Because you're into the Galio. This is crazy draft, crazy game to end our series with here, Carmeline.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if you've made it so far, into the bracket and into this third game, you're like, you know what? We're going to be picking not just what might be better against the enemy composition, but also what we actually want to play. And that's the case for the Vayne, that's the case for the Misfortune. At this point, you should care about what you are best at and trying to just push your weight in when it comes to that instead of just conforming and be like, okay, I'm gonna pick whatever works whatever is meta right now. Nope. You want to give it your best. You want to give it your all. And I think that's what both Formulation Gaming and Team Kes are doing right now.
Crazy game.
Indeed.
Crazy game to end things off.
It is, and we can see right now. Okay, let's take a little bit of a look at the summoners. We've got triple ignite from the side of Formulation Gaming, ready to catch all the skills. And Team Kes are losing the faith of people in there. They're like, they are just being left in the mud by the talent, by the people. And I feel so sad about them. But on the other hand, if you look at Team Kezo, you can see how they've chosen to go more with Barrier and perhaps even with a little bit of Ignite. More of a mix, if you compare it to Formulation Gaming. And finally, it's going to be the set mid lane that we were discussing previously, which is, again, quite interesting in this one. The matchup should be more going in favor of Bragas. But you never know. When it comes to these two teams, you never know how they're going to surprise you. And the Fury in the hands of Andres said, again, is another question for me. By the way, talking about the pacing is also going to be quite interesting. Fury starting from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and going to be the opposite for Kimia. Once again, going to be crashing and clashing. I have got the potential first team fight in here. Andres said, getting right in the middle with a riposte, but not going to be getting any kills in here, except a few, pokes out of the enemy team. Again, they are looking for a team fight right here. So wow, Kimia getting chased down, gonna be the first kill over to Set's hands. Being rooted for Kazakhs is not good news. Galio now having to flash away from the Team Kazakh position, which means that 1-1 for each one of them. Andres Set's forced into this gang, but so is gonna be the case for Formulation Gaming. During now in a little bit of trouble as well. So yeah, quite interesting team fight that we saw that with the 1-1. So yeah, that's what we've got.
That was a crazy start here for Formulation and Team Queso, and you can really see that they're willing to put everything on the line for this final game. Such an important game for both of these teams. It'll be, is that a double scuttle confirmed for Formulation Gaming to start off with? That's a really good start if you're Formulation. Like double scuttle in both top and bot river is a huge deal realistically for these two teams. Damn. Formulation really off to a swinging that sort of like everything on the line, and they're just willing to sort of go all in on these river scuttle fights too.
Absolutely, and I think Team Kets is going to need to wake a little bit. Besides those 2 kills, we haven't seen much more of them. 3 minutes in division by Formulation Gaming. I think that's the highlight for me for this team. It's always impeccable. There's nothing to be criticized about it. It's just right where it needs to be. And I just can't do anything else but praise it. Maybe wish them a better laning phase than last time, because it seems like they might have a little bit of trouble here.
Oh, UA is going to pop preemptively the Dominus. I love it. Just does that to clear the wave out. Doesn't want to give an easy tower dive over to Team Queso. Formulation though. Andre taking down very low. The riposte is there, but he gets flashed on. Oh, that'll be the barrel that takes him out. Team Queso can't make anything work for themselves right now. And Formulation Gaming, they are off to a banger start. Can't get the face breaker to work for Vejos. But man, that was crazy start. Great stuff from UI to buy time for both Don, Zawa, Kimau to come and help him out and prevent that tower dive from coming through. The Acolyte gets forced to flash away from UI and Zawa once again. Kimau is here. Just going to force them out of that fight. This is not good though. You can see that Queso feeling a little rattled, I think, by Formulation Gaming.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like they know how to react exactly. Like they are finding themselves in a situation that they're not used to be, which is starting from behind. They are usually the ones initiating the first attacks. In this case, it's not going to be like that. Oh, wow, okay.
Is Andre going to get... Oh, he does. He gets across the wall. They sneak it. I really thought that was going to be disaster there, Carmeline, but they just about sneaked that dragon. And that was a good pickup because that's Infernal now. Really nice. Pico taken down low. Vejos maybe looking for a crazy play. Takes down the AD carry. They have not got that Misfortune ultimate, and that might be enough for Team Queso to want to go for this fight, by the way. As you can see, the pull comes in from Acolyte. Acolyte gets a double stack now, trying to find some kind of edge. As you can see, the Vejos there with the face breaker does have the ultimate available as well. He gets forced to flash away, gets taken down by the stray, double up. Joey managed to find that stun, but it is 1 kill for the traded Rift Herald, and actually Acolyte and the rest of Team Queso will be relatively happy with the outcome there.
Yeah, they might want to use it here in the mid lane, perhaps, to get a little bit of an advantage.
Oh, they're going in. It's going to be Methanaut. Zawa taken down very low. Methanaut jumps away, forced the flash. It's going to be Acolyte that dies. Maybe. As the flash comes through from Kimau. Maybe trading for the top lane in tower, though, as we do have the Rift Herald that can get dropped if needs be. But Andre's actually not going to use it. Happy to save that for another scenario.
That started off so well, and then it just Dunn doing here an amazing walk with the Gragas, but then again, okay, this puts Team KS in a quite difficult position. Formulation Gaming getting about 1k ahead of them. It's quite a few kills as well. They've been rolling this early game. And I mean, they've got the champions to do so. They've got the Kazakhs, they've got Renekton. Champions that should be doing well in these situations. They really exploiting the engaged potential and the CZ that Galio can bring over to the game. So I'm really liking what they're doing so far. I just need to see a little bit more once the game goes into the next few minutes and they have to face Team KSO at their best, you know.
Don's trying to bait them in here. Zawa's in the sidelines waiting on. Acolyte just oversteps. He's going to be easily killed off by Kemal here. You're going to drop that Rift Herald mid though. It was a three-man commit. You do have that ultimate that is going to be ready for Zawa if he needs it to see a clear wave coming through, and they can't quite find that first tower of the game. In the meantime, they're going to barrel down towards the bot lane. It's going to be Joey, Methanout, and Andres racing up against Air Formulation's topside threat for first tower of the game. I think it's going to go the way of Formulation Gaming, though. Yeah. They'll get first tower of the game. They played this super well so far. Got to be honest with you, Team Queso, especially Acolyte, is making a couple of mistakes on that top side of the map, and Formulation Gaming are punishing them.
Yeah, thing is, there's something that we've been discussing as well. I heard as I was discussing this, you know, as a very honored spectator of that, how Andret said sometimes plays more for the lanes instead of playing for the entire team. You know, that can be a great issue because when you're facing someone like Kim Yao who's got such a map presence, you cannot afford to just play for one lane at a time. You need to think of whatever is going on in the entire map. And so in this case, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Like, you obviously cannot be everywhere, but you need to make sure that the enemy thinks you're everywhere. That's part of the game. And what we're seeing right now is Acolyte being clearly left alone. You see how Joey and Methanout have to be fighting back, and look at this.
Acolyte just get a little bit of healing there. Actually flashes away. That's going to be the ult coming out from Fico as Vejos also flashes to respond. Fico won't go down. Trying to push that mid lane tier 1 for the time being, as we see the grand challenge popped by Andres. Is going to actually bait the ignite out of UI as well, as now Vejos was looking for a cheeky little engage. Wonder if that tier 2 can actually go down for Joey. I don't think it can. They're actually going to spot them out, as UI might be able to jump over the wall with the slice and dice here. Methanout and Joey just about to back off. He didn't want to take the risk, didn't really have the support from his team. We have the Ocean Drake now on the cards, and Kemal is going to start that one up. And Andre straight over the wall. Kemal actually forced to flush away. He's taken down super low. Here comes Don. There is the riposte for the time being. Forced to flush as well. Andre just about escapes. Sliver of HP. Both junglers burning a huge amount of resources just to keep themselves alive in that situation. Looks like it's going to be the Dragon that's focused down, though. I think they'll be going free over to Formulation Gaming as Kemal gets himself back up to a healthy amount of HP.
Oh, okay. So still the goal difference is not big. The objective difference is not big. But you can see here in Formulation Gaming how well they plan things. Anytime Team Kesson tries to start something, they go uninterrupted, and this could be the case as well. If you go the entirety of Formulation Gaming just approaching the area, they're not going to be able to make it in the end. But this is already giving them a clue of what Team Kesson might want to do in the next steps. You know, like, okay, we're going to push the side lane. Darius should be doing well in that one. Vayne as well, you know. But I don't know if they can pull this off. Like, it'll be a difficult task for them to do so. You can also see how the composition for Team Queso is starting to decay a little bit in front of Formulation, just because, you know, you get in the team fights, you've got the crew meows, initiations, and then what do? Like, you're going to be having loads of issues moving forward with that, because Seth is not having the best show in the entire day. This Vejos version is not really working for me. Joey, best champion for him, but maybe not the best champion for this composition. The bot lane strategy has clearly worked in favor of Formulation Gaming. So I know Xcanderol, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing.
No, I mean, we've still got a lot of work to do for both these teams. Still a relatively even game, slight lead for Formulation Gaming, but they haven't got that second Rift Herald, which can be potentially used to crack open this mid lane tier 1, depending on where Andre chooses to use it. See some good defensive vision control coming out from the Formulation Gaming roster as well, just to ensure that Andre can't essentially walk in and get a free proc of that Rift Herald and take down the mid lane tier 1. Joey is farming up a lot of the jungle, being given the red buff now for the time being. I think that is someone that we do need to look towards to be a potential carry here. There's always a late game get out clause of a Vayne, and Joey has got the support of a black shield from the Morgana as well, which will always keep him safe. So he is, I would say, a little bit overstepping right now, like a flash body slam from Don, or an isolating play. Once you've seen the black shield go down, there's always a little bit of a risk.
I also think, of course, Vayne is quite good late game if you make it to the late game,
Yes.
which might not be the case, because at its rate, Formulation Gaming is going to be closing this game in about 5 to 10 minutes, which is something that we didn't want, because we want a really thrilling game between these two. But again, Team KSO not really showing that. Maybe they can get it with some pick kills here and there over Kimia, who seems to have seen them. Otherwise,
Yeah, he's got some spidey senses going on. He's not gonna overstep on that wave for the time being. Knows that Vejos could be hiding in the sidelines. Joey just trying to clear these waves. Oh, takes a lot of damage from a single barrel there. That's one of the things I love Gragas into Vayne, because it's just like you can bop Vayne so easily in the late game, and you can make it difficult for Vayne to play the game. And I really like Gragas into Vayne, especially full AP Lichbane Gragas as well. It makes it very difficult to actually play the game properly as the Vayne player. And actually, Joey has foregone many defensive capabilities here. Gone straight for the the Blade of the Ruin King Solari Charge Blade Spike. As we have the third dragon of the game spawning, and actually between the two dragons, very little action actually happened between the two dragons.
Yeah, it was quite peaceful in comparison to all the games. It seems like they're going to be favoring all the objectives, going over to them instead of doing this. Do you think they will risk it, though? I think that there now it's 30 seconds. Nah, they're going to be fighting the fourth dragon right now. Team KSO in its entirety is heading over towards that one. Using the Herald, okay, this is the typical strategy. Just send the Herald to all the lane, and then you hope for the enemy to go there, or at least distract them a little bit and choose between the objective and defending whatever you've sent the Herald to. So, Herald has been sent to die, because he's been sent with a wave of minions, but I don't know how far he will make it before reaching tower.
It's not the best Herald in the world, actually. It's going to be a long time before that Herald actually gets to the tower. Acolyte in the front line for the time being. That's a really huge bullet time. That's an awful play for Team KSO right now. They managed to trade 1-for-1 for the time being, but they don't actually get the reset onto Acolyte. Oh, they played that. I don't know, man. Like, the Herald was bad, the setup was bad. Team KSO deservedly punished the Formulation Gaming and goes straight for the Baron.
That was so bad, as I said, for Team KSO. Whatever happened there, I don't understand how, I think they're nervous, It feels like they didn't really know what to do. It feels like they're kind of lost. You can see it right here with the wings that's changed by Galio. And then it just goes all down to hell with the ultimate by Misfortune. Acolyte left, trying to flash away, trying to get that kill, but then he turns around and guess what? The entirety of Formulation Gaming is waiting for him, while the rest of his team at least manages to make it out safely. So I'm not pleased with what I'm seeing. Once again, I've said this multiple times. Acolyte has died 4 times. Andres is not just taking off. There's no one really carrying Team KSO. No one that you can say, okay, this person at least is doing a job that will keep them alive for the rest of the game. Whereas Formulation Gaming have both Kumiao and Sawa, so difficult situation for them unless they are taken out in the early minutes, and it's a Galio and a Kha'Zix, and maybe the Kha'Zix can be taken out more easily, but the Galio, you're gonna be having a difficult time doing it.
I really love actually the combo between Gragas, Galio, Misfortune, and Kha'Zix. Like Misfortune's ultimate, Galio, as a unit, and the ability to taunt, and Gragas, they all split comps up really nicely. Like, you have to split versus bullet time, you have to split versus Galio, and Gragas can make you split with his ultimate, and that suddenly makes Kha'Zix that much scarier because he can then find much more readily isolated targets. It's such a nice little combo that you're seeing from Formulation Gaming here, and honestly, I think that we could be looking at the exit of Team KSO. from the WREC, which would be huge given they're the previous European representatives at the Horizon Cup, and they were the Origin Series winners last year. Acolyte might just be straight up dead here if he's not careful.
No,
and you can see that Team Queso, they're trying to hold on. They are trying desperately to hold on to something. They're definitely going to lose inhibitors, is how you feel in this situation. But this is not a good start for Team Queso. They are on the ropes in this competition.
I just feel like throughout the bracket, Team Queso have gone like from good to like what are you doing? And this is not Team Queso that we know once again, and I feel kind of disappointed. But then again, I understand. Okay, the competition has leveled up. This is not the same roster that we had in the Origin Series, and there we go.
That's a good start. You get 1 kill, but that's it. You've lost that inhibitor on the top side of the map. It's the worst inhibitor to lose. When the Elder is spawning relatively soon too, and they're doing exactly what they did to Formulation when they had the Lee Sin game, where they were just denying everything from that jungle. Now a Vayne without a red buff is definitely going to struggle, but goodness gracious, this is it's uncharted territory for Team Queso. I don't think they're expecting to be game 3 and potentially looking at exiting the competition. They are 10k gold down. Andre is very sort of underfed compared to his usual state. And Team Queso are on the verge of exiting.
Ouch. See, the problem here is that you try to do the reports, and then when you go back, you're going to be facing the winds of war by Galio, and then you're going to be slowed down. So there is no exit for that. Unless you're going to go all in. With a Galio, that's the case. You know, like either you go all in and try to get the kill onto him, or you're trapped within whatever ability he's using, and there is no escape. Like in this case, might as well happen. There is a potential escape going for that mid lane tower while giving Formulation Gaming the Elder, but that's not the smartest idea. It's an Elder Dragon. You don't want to give it up. So we'll see what happens. They seem to be setting up for a teamfight right here, but
they're just going to push down mid. They're going to push down mid. They're going to say, fine, take Elder. We're going to threaten your base.
Yeah.
And they can't do it. They just can't do it. Right now, you've got the Joey Skaggs win condition, or you lose the game. That's basically where we're at. Acolyte can't even pull in and go for the fight. They're not grouped up at this point in time. They're sat on top of a ward right now as well. You can see the flashing from Joey Skaggs. Joey Skaggs almost get isolated. Don tries to go for the play there. The stasis for the time being, but everybody's split up right now. And you can see they're trying to get onto Joey. He's forced to use the stasis for the time being. It's not a great bullet time, actually, and the stun comes through now. Joey has to kite backwards, and they do get the kill. That's 2 kills right now for Team Queso for the time being. They're working their way forward. Andre uses the riposte straight away. Hasn't got that smite for the time being, but it is still a relatively good spot for Team Queso to find themselves in. They are defending against their own minions in the base right now too, and you can see Joey forces to teleport out. Has that ultimate. They're going to start this dragon up for the time being. Team Queso not out of the running just yet. Not out of the running just yet. The Elder is going to get started up. The teleport's coming through. You can see re-teleports coming in from Formulation Gaming as well. Methanor is there. Andre is dead. We have to see the teleport coming out from Vejos too, as Acolyte gets taken down super low. Can they go for the fight? I mean, we have to get Vejos in. We have to get Vejos in, and the bullet time comes through. Vejos is there. Joey on the backline. Joey trying to go for it. Joey's unstoppable right now. He's going to get the kill. He's going to get the first one down. It's going to be the second one down. They're going to pull in the Kha'Zix for the time being too. Vejos is there. It's Kha'Zix versus the well. He smites away. Another teleport coming in. Another teleport. It's going to be Don's Dragons. They're going to try to cut them off with the Renekton as well. I think Team Queso are done here. I think Team Queso are absolutely done. Vejos can't stand up against UI as he teleports back into the fight, and Andre versus the world cannot make it work. Joey needed to carry that and he couldn't. And Formulation Gaming here are surely going to win. Andre's not going to get there in time, I don't think. It'll get immediately locked up. It was a last chance saloon play. They should be able to push down and win the game through the top side inhibitor, the Baron lane inhibitor that's gone down. Formulation Gaming knock out Team Queso from the WREC. They exit the former Origin Series winners, the former representatives at the Horizon Cup, and it is Formulation Gaming that advanced to the losers bracket to Viv. I know, your face says it all, because that's how I feel. It's hard, because I think most people saw them as favorites. I think they did, but let's not take anything away. Let's not take anything away from Formulation Gaming. They played so well.
Absolutely.
So well. That was the best I've ever seen them play this tournament, right?
They played amazingly well. I think they had an amazing strategy from the very beginning, and it is it was quite good. I think you can see in plays like this one where they were clearly know what to do. I think this one they didn't want to in favor of simulation gaming. They were able to just turn things around, and it was really good. Well, it really deserved.
It's hard, I know. It's especially when I think most people were expecting Queso to remain as one of the hopes of Europe for wider competition in Wild Rift, to see them exit to Formulation Gaming, but maybe this is where we're seeing the new stars of Europe born. No one put Formulation in with a chance in this series. Everybody thought that Queso were a shoe-in for the win, but it is Team Queso that lose out to Formulation. And I'm going to be honest, like, I think everybody on Formulation played well, but Kemal certainly showed his mettle, especially on these Kha'Zix games. And I actually think the drafting from Formulation Gaming was just significantly better than Queso. I think that's one of the main points for me in this entire series, just how good the drafts from Formulation Gaming were all the way through the series. It was incredible to see kind of like some of these last minute additions, like the Misfortune that worked so well alongside the Kha'Zix, you know, the constant Galio Gragas priority, which proved so like fruitful in team fight scenarios. And this last fight, the teleports left, right, and center, like, heartbreaking, but so good to watch as well. Like, it was just brilliant Wild Rift from start to finish, if I'm honest with you.
I think it also hurts because of how this was the last hope for Spain. So out of the 4 teams we had in the game, none of them have made it. None of them. And it hurts a lot. But if we're looking at these stats here, Andres and Echo, the ones that you could rely on to do all that damage, then it's just not there. I know what happened in this game. They were playing the favorite champions, at least champions that they feel really comfortable in, and it just didn't happen. Vayne wasn't enough to stop it. Vejos has been kind of absent during the entire series, except for that one set game at times. And if you look on the other hand at Formulation Gaming, Kimia and Sawa, for me, have been the highlights of this composition. So
yeah, Kimau as well, just a really standout player, I think, for Formulation Gaming. And Team Queso, they're not out of the entire competition. We still have our last chance qualifier, so I just need to make everyone aware that there is a last chance qualifier that will be taking place, where you can still get your team through to those live finals, I believe. But of course, the main qualifying is now over for Team Queso. They'll have to run the gauntlet of the last chance qualifier versus the rest of the teams. But of course, probably in the good stead. If you consider yourself best of the rest, then last chance qualifier is a good place to be. And obviously, you'll have a lot of things to look back on in this series and think about. But I wanna be, massively honest. It's Formulation Gaming that deserve all the success here. They upset the apple cart. They played excellently. I think their drafts were absolutely out of this world. I think they outdrafted Queso in almost every game, even the game that Queso won. I really think that they had a better draft all round. I think we're going to have the play of the game now as well. I think we should be able to look at the standout play from this game. I wonder which one it was. Maybe the teleport, the crazy teleports. Yeah, it's got to be the Elder, right? There's the teleport fiesta.
Oh, this one was... this one was really well played. Like, I didn't expect it at all, and I think Team Queso didn't expect it either. They were absolutely isolated. You can see here how they are believing they can get the kill onto Kimia, but it was all a bait for Formulation Gaming to just appear behind them, just get the kills onto them, and really good play. Yeah,
I think good use of teleports from Team Queso to keep that fight alive. Great use of teleports and Formulation in response to kind of pincer them off and secure the game right there. I think we need to have a look at the MVP as well. Not many people would have been predicting an MVP coming from Formulation Gaming, but I think there were lots of candidates this series. Formulation Gaming almost won the first game, by the way. I need to remind everyone of that. They almost won the first game too. So I think, like Viv, they have been the better, but I think we actually before that might have the interview ready. So Hells is going to be interviewing, I believe, Fico from Formulation Gaming.
All right. Hey man, congrats for the win. That was incredible. You've beaten one of the EU Titans, which is Team Queso, right? How are your feelings right after this victory?
Yo, hello guys. Well, we feel great. Like my team did a pretty good job. Like as you saw, like the first game was, in my opinion, we won the first game. We deserved to win, but we entered. Unlucky, it happens. And the second game, we just said, okay, guys, like just focus. Like let's like think that it's 0-0. You know, just mind reset. We keep focusing, and we can win. So yeah, we just did what we had to do. And yeah, Team Queso is a tough opponent. It's for sure. They have really great players, but today we won.
That's right. And next game is against VIF Esports, who also won against a strong team like Navi, right? How do you feel matching up against Navi? Against VIF Esports, because they have the same thing as you. They've beaten out one of those strong teams as well.
Yeah, in my opinion, VIV, like they're pretty strong. Like you can call them like dark horse, you know, of European team. Like they have pretty solid team comps. They're pretty solid players, and I think it's gonna be like pretty good match between us. Yeah, and we're looking forward to it.
Wait to watch it. Yeah, I cannot wait to see it, and especially also up against GameLord and WREC, which are gonna be the next ones, right? After you win against the next opponent, you're going to be up against those big teams as well. So I'm going to leave you alone. You know, go ahead and party with your team because you guys deserve it. That was incredible. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Peace.
Yeah, back to the casters.
Gonna see, that was a great interview, by the way. Like, obviously, they are just about as stunned as we were realistically, but I think they're very happy with how they played. And I think he's right. They kind of should have won first game as well. Like every single game, they looked like they were in control. I think from start to finish, and I think Team Queso were lucky kind of to escape that with that Baron play in the first game. But nonetheless, it is a Formulation Gaming win, and of course that means we're going to get a Formulation Gaming MVP. Let's take a look at who the MVP of that series was. And I think difficult to choose for me. Difficult to choose. I think the MVP of that series could have been many people, Carmeline. But I think, you know, for me, between Don and Kimau, maybe.
Could be. Let's see, who is it?
It's Kimau. It's Kimau. I think we're focusing on the Kimau point of view. He was really excellent in like objective control, and his Kazakhs in competitive looked really saucy as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to highlight one player, I think whatever he was playing, he was doing quite well, and so I'm glad that he's gotten the MVP once again. I think it also has to do with him similarly leading whatever was happening in game. You know, like his champions allowed him to take that initiative, and I think that reflected on what we saw in game in these actual team fights.
Yeah, and I think this is like, you know, a key example. The team really set him up for success in all of the games as well. Misfortune with Seralda's Grudge versus kind of like heavy comps that want to split, comps that want to play grouped up. It just eats them alive. This is why I love the Formulation Gaming draft, because they knew they could go Misfortune final pick with Seralda's Grudge and just destroy Team Queso's composition. It was so good. I mean, I love to see good drafting, by the way. That's my absolute pleasure point in Wild Rift. And good drafting really makes me happy, and Formulation Gaming really did well on the drafting side of things. Hells, that is it for this weekend. What a crazy weekend of Wild Rift Esports. How was it watching that game from the sidelines, seeing Queso unfortunately exit?
I mean, I ate 2 bags of popcorn while you guys were casting. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had the most joy ever watching those games. That was incredible, and especially as you said, the drafting. Of course, I'm not gonna analyze it all right now because we've ended the series, but that was just so incredible to see these two teams. And if we look into the upper bracket, GameLord against WREC, right? Like these are gonna, the loser of this is gonna be facing up against the winner between VIF and Formulation. So we're still a long ways to go before the grand finals, and these teams still have to get there. But damn, man, this is becoming very exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the upcoming matches that we've got. VIV versus Formulation. You go back to the start of the competition, you would have said, that doesn't sound so good. Now it sounds insane. Like VIV versus Formulation, two, as we said, maybe dark horse teams. No one really gave Formulation the time of day versus Queso, but they've shown why they need to be contested. And GameLord versus WREC. That is going to be absolutely crazy. Those are coming to you, I believe, on this. I'm not exactly sure when these are actually coming, if it's the Saturday or the Friday. But nonetheless, they're coming next next week. You'll see the schedules posted on social media. But regardless, they're going to be two excellent games. I'm really excited about both of these series, if I'm honest with you, Carmeline.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think can I do my predictions last? Then you guys can copy me later.
Yes, yeah, sure. You do it first, and we'll copy you later. That's not a problem. That's. I think that's how we've been doing for the most part. We've just been copying Carmeline because she's always first. She's the organised one. She gets the predictions in first. Those are Friday, by the way. Just got to double check. So those will be back. We'll be back Friday with those games. So you want to make sure that you're tuning in on Friday to ensure that you're catching all of the action. And we have loads more to go in this bracket of the Wild Rift European Championship. I'm over the moon to see the teams getting to where they've got to. I'm very excited for Rix versus Game World as well. It's that one European Titan clash that I think everybody has been looking forward to. But I think that about wraps up our weekend here at the Wild Rift European Championship. Carmeline and Hells, it's been great. I know, Carmeline, I'm sad for Queso as well. They did have a really great series, and Formulation, I think, deserved to win there because it was a fantastic performance. Viv as well. Awesome performance from them. And I think we've got two new star teams in the making. Make sure you tune in on Friday next week to see all of the action here at WREC. But for now, we'll see you later.